So
happy draft day, everybody. We made it.
Day.
You know, very awesome stuff. You know, a lot exciting. I think everybody, you're tuning in now. Obviously, Dallas, the Dallas Wings are on the clock. Beforehand, you know, had Kathy Engelbert do the little introductions. She actually gave her like state of the WNBA press conference an hour prior. In my opinion, so far, the highlight of this broadcast was Anne Hathaway dropping in for 30 seconds to say congratulations to all the draftees. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Dallas is on the clock. If you followed us these last couple days, you know, we've been doing a number of mock drafts. I think you've seen what the Dallas Wings have done for agency. They've been one of the most active and one of the most aggressive teams in really revamping their entire roster. Broadcast. Sorry if I'm looking over my shoulder. My TV's to the side. You know what I'm saying? All of our
yeah. See, that's why I'm sitting where I'm at today too, because I didn't want to keep going.
Pick is in. Kathy is walking to the stage.
There you go.
With the first pick.
How about one of you put on the audio? Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I got you. Could you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Better? We'll get it right by pick 2.
Right. Hell, I need to pull up our list too.
Coach Morgan Valley here representing UConn, while Gino Auriemma is at a celebration of life for a member of the UConn family tonight. And hear the reaction from the crowd, including her team.
All right, so
she knew the way she looked at the camera.
So. Initial impressions, initial reactions.
Conrad, we were right.
Yeah, y'all were right.
They said we were crazy.
I was that man. They know. They said I was crazy for switching it up. I think based on what y'all told me, I think it's a good fit, and I'm interested in seeing it. I know it was one of the people on our channel, Blasian. She was going back and forth. I'm like, hey, you got it, but I did have AZ. Like, if she actually listened to the episode, you was like, Mike, you had AZ as one. It's like, did she miss that part? But it was me expecting Arike to be gone. You know what I mean? So they would have more room. But with you guys saying what you said, and then even she chimed in and was like, well, Golden State did this and this and that and made it happen like this and that. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And it didn't happen in the NBA before that. And the WNBA has yet to see that type of, situation go on. So I think that, just looking at that and looking on the bright side of it, like the ceiling, like, yeah, of course, AZ. I wanted her to play with Paige anyway because they play so great together.
Yeah,
like,
we were talking.
You really can't stop Paige. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, we were talking about it off camera, like, right before we came on, but now you're looking at a Paige, Arike, AZ Fudd, you know, perimeter trio with Jess Shepard, Elena Smith, Lee Rue, Maddie Seegers, front court.
Yeah.
Like, that's an incredible transformation year to year for the Dallas Wings. So, if you're a Dallas Wings fan, there's a lot to be excited for, as long as, the new coaching and, that's really my only concern at this point.
Right.
I think they're, a potential playoff contender, like after drafting AZ 1 overall.
I think definitely like the nature of their moves suggests that, like, I'd hardly say that they're like a all-in team, right? Like, oh my God, they're all in. Like we're chasing, it's a title or bust in year 1. No, but I do believe that, again, like, I understand that if they believe that their best way of kind of helping expedite and supplement the development of Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd is to have the best possible front court around them, and we've talked about, again, how proficient both Jessica Shepard and Alana Smith are, both as finishers around the rim, but more so passers. And again, right, not just static passers, but really dynamic passers, whether that's pick and roll, dribble handoffs, like they can actually be the initiators of those actions. And, Maxwell, you talked about it last night's show again, right? Just think about the amount of action that you can run now, where, again, I was actually talking about this too. You talked about horn sets this morning, and I was like kind of going back and forth with what AZ could possibly do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you know, I was saying I think she's a really underrated screener, which again, right, going back to what you were saying, Maxwell, about like whether it's like horns or, you know, like kind of like a Spain pick and roll or something like that, right? Where if AZ's the initial screener in the action, think about all the mismatches that it creates on the court, especially on weak side action, you know? So, yeah, a really cool force multiplying effect. It'll be interesting. I'm with you. No shade to Chris Koklanis, but I just think that there was like just a lot of, I think players were just very unclear on really like what their role was on a game-to-game basis. Because again, like, I don't believe Arike Gumbawale all of a sudden just forgot how to be a high-impact player. Like just the year before, right? I mean, she was like, what, 20 plus per game? Like, you know, had multiple seasons of being 20-point per game scorer. You know, again, one of the best, like, you know, isolation scorers in a good way, not like in a heliocentric, like, you know, selfish way. So I'm with you. I think there's reason to be optimistic about this. I think it could work more than I think some fans are giving it credit for. Is it ideal? Maybe, maybe not. TBD. But should be definitely fun.
Yeah, I mean, that it's kind of funny you ended on that point, Conrad, because like, ideal is the real question. I mean, what is, you know, Kurt Miller's vision for the Dallas Wings ultimately, with Paige at the forefront, right? And now we're seeing it tonight. Oh, Kathy's coming up to the stage.
Said uh-oh.
You're gonna switch it up.
Second pick in the 2026 WNBA draft, the Minnesota Lynx select Olivia Miles.
Whoa! She just blew our whole spot.
Let's go.
Wow, that really throws a big curveball for both Seattle and Maxwell's Washington Mystic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe no fam in DC. Maybe no fam.
Let's go.
DC.
Let's dive in. I mean,
go ahead,
I think
Connor.
okay. I mean, I just kind of had like my little like AZ soliloquy. I mean, we've been saying this, right? For this entire draft cycle, right? There's two positions that Minnesota needed to address even before free agency. Let's just assume all the players came back, right? Let's say Alana Smith came back, right? They needed a legitimate center, like one with size, rim protection, right? Just because they've been a fantastic, quote unquote, like jumbo small ball lineup doesn't mean that they want to always have to play kind of undersized. They want, but they also, a lot of fans have been saying they needed a more traditional point guard, right? Again, no shade to Courtney Williams, no shade to Nijisha Heidemann, right? But they're, you know, kind of more of like the combo guard ilk. Frankly, Courtney Williams is a shooting guard converted into a point guard, you know? So I think, I'm especially given that you kind of look too at like the nature of their contracts. I mean, you know, there is a certain shelf life to the Minnesota Lynx veteran core, you know?
True.
So again, I think if they wanted to have like some kind of long-term stability, specifically in terms of like, you know, a long-term, like someone who brought like is the table setter, as Maxwell was saying yesterday, right? Yeah, I totally understand Olivia Miles, right? I mean, again, I think there are obviously, we'll get into it, some defensive concerns, you know, and I've been a little bit skeptical if Cheryl would feel comfortable, you know, entrusting a rookie to kind of, you know, be the steward of her team's offense. But at the same time, if you're going to do it, this is the year to do it, right? Where Fee's going to miss at least half the season, likely, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, like, if you want to give some reps to a younger player to get to the point where she does feel comfortable having control and command of the team, then yeah, I totally understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the real value in this pick here is like, you know, if the Mystics, or sorry, if the Lynx, the Lynx are full go heading into the season. I think they maybe consider someone else, at this pick, but Olivia Miles was one of the 3 players I had in my top tier. And, Conrad, you highlighted it really well there. And, we've talked about it yesterday on our show as well. But there's no one in this class who loves basketball more than Olivia Miles. And, I think Cheryl Reeve and Olivia Miles is a phenomenal coach-player fit. I think, heading into the late 2020s and on, if you're the Minnesota Lynx, now you have Nafisa Collier and Olivia Miles to build around. And those are 2 building blocks that, in my opinion, are, you have a really good front court player and someone who I think is going to be an all-star, possible all-NBA or all-WNBA backcourt player. So great pick by Cheryl. I thought they were going to go Lauren Betts there. Glad that I think that's the bet. I think that's
you guys have me expecting that.
I mean, to be fair, and again, I know, I've never been against the idea of Miles to the Lynx. I've been skeptical that any rookie point guard would be, given the responsibility, of essentially, quarterbacking this offense. But having said that, given the situation, Miles is getting like these extended reps, so maybe by like mid-season, she feels comfortable, right? She knows what she's doing. Then you could think in terms of the long-term kind of like butterfly effect of this, she could essentially help prolong like Kayla McBride and Nafisa Collier's like prime years or high impact years, right? I mean, if she is again making things easier for them, we already know that they're 3-level scorers, but if she's out there, like just again, setting them up, giving them the right angles, less weight, Olivia, right? Well, she reduces wasted movement for her teammates. I think she could kind of reduce her wasted movement, but whatever, so.
That's that. You're not wrong. That's another conversation, but that's again why she's a good player coach fit with someone like Cheryl Reeve, who's been able to help other players with things like that, like a Courtney Williams, for example. So, I again,
looking ahead though.
Yeah, go ahead. Looking ahead.
Seattle has to do
3. It. They got to take off.
This is exactly
fam. They have to.
Yeah.
This is exactly what Roberta. Shout out Roberta, friend of the show,
Roberta
Brazil.
W.
She was saying, right, like they would be open to trading Ezzy depending on the results of the draft. What she was implying, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
But how do we actually feel? I mean, like we understand why. I think it's easy to understand why Dallas went with AZ Fudd.
Oh yeah, I was just about to.
Why Minnesota went with Olivia Miles?
Because they didn't get Dallas was probably hoping something else. I mean, Minnesota was probably hoping something else went different. Because that's why I switched last minute on the AZ front. Because I started looking at it like, okay, if I'm building a team, what direction do I want to go in? It's not that you can't go AZ to Dallas because you can create something that we haven't seen in the W, or you can go traditional and keep on making a guard big type of lineup or a guard wing big type of lineup. They're gonna try something different. But for Minnesota, it's just like, well, hell, who did they have? You know what I mean? That point guard. They haven't really had a point guard, really a center. They just been getting it done year in and year out. You know what I mean? So it's like with them not going Lauren Betts, and it was like they either went Betts or they went Olivia Miles, and it's just like, hey, take Motor Miles. You might as well, because you get a lot of minutes from Courtney Williams, you get a lot of minutes from Natisha Heidemann over the last couple of years, and I mean, can Olivia not give you that production? You know what I mean? Maybe not when Courtney's just being a super sharp mid-range shooter, she'll have to probably get to that point translating her game to the W. But other than that, like, man, I like this pick because she has the hustle, the motor, and I've been talking about it a lot in other places. We've talked about it here. I'm sure you guys then talked about it on the indie front too, on indie basketball. And it's just like the league does not necessarily have like a super huge amount of just flat out point guard. Let's go.
With the 3rd pick in the 2026 WNBA draft, the Seattle Storm select Awa.
Yes. Let's go. Had to. But yeah, I was right at the end of my soliloquy. It was perfect timing. Go for it. Who got thoughts on that?
So I'm glad that Michael
I'm
was so
happy.
kind enough to clip segments of our live mock draft, and he actually clipped the segment where I made the case that Awa Pham and Dominique Malonga could be, you know, kind of like the new era front court pairing, right? Like this next generation's, you know, modern day front court where they have like ridiculous, you know, like otherworldly size and athleticism at the 4 or 5 spot. We've talked about it. I've talked about it. I've never been like low on Awa Pham. I've said that I think right now in her career and possibly long term, she actually may be better suited off as a 4, you know, and I think that actually really plays to the strengths of her game, which is specifically, right, you see the shooting potential. She continues to develop her range. Again, moves more like a guard as opposed to big. Fantastic. Already, probably on day one, going to come in as one of the best bigs at stepping out and, you know, switching onto guards, defending in space. These are the things that Dominique Malonga does not do well. But what Dominique Malonga does do well, or at least relatively better, is protect the rim. Like just a normal drop, low drop rim protector, you know, and gobble up rebounds. Those are things Awa Pham struggles to do, at least just right now. So again, you could potentially get the best out of both of them if you pair them together.
Yeah.
You know, now
pairing, bro.
I mean, again, I don't know. You know, they're eventually gonna have to. I don't like. They did say right that they're open to trading Ezi Maghrebour. You know, depending on the results. And again, we just said that right before the pick was officially made. This would likely be the result that would at least motivate them to legitimately, like seriously entertain trading queries.
You know who I think could trade for Ezi Maghrebour tonight? The Portland Fire. Portland Fire. I think
I'm still not discounting the idea of my Golden State Valkyries.
Another good shout. Another good shout.
Hey, that'll be a good look.
It would be. It would be
a team that needs a versatile 4 or 5. That's Portland. That's Golden State. That's Phoenix right now.
Yeah. I would laugh if it's Washington.
Who else?
If it's Washington, you gonna make it happen.
I'm curious, though. I'm curious, right? We talked about ceiling and floor, draft ceiling, draft floor. Now, Maxwell, like, okay, we know Shakira Austin. I already said before the pick. I said before the draft. I said even with Shakira Austin returning, that should not change Washington's plans. However, I think ideally they were hoping one of Miles or Pham might be available. So right now for you, what would you want? What would you want Washington to do right now with this pick? Assuming they're not trading out.
Assuming we are sticking and picking, I think the best move is probably Lauren Betts. She's the top player on my board, and I think, you know, moving forward, having Lauren and Kiki, you know, and Shakira is not a bad thing. You can always trade one of them, but I think Lauren Betts has all-star potential. I think she has potential to be one of the best rim protectors in the WNBA, and I think she's probably the safest bet at this point in the draft. I also would be open to talking Flage or Kiki Rice. Those are 2 guards that also interest me, specifically Kiki Rice for our team. And, you know, where she's from. I just think Kiki Rice would be a good fit. But Lauren Betts probably the best pick here. I know that the Mystics have been, you know, scouting UCLA like crazy. I mean, we just signed one of UCLA's assistant coaches on their staff. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it was Lauren or Kiki here. I think, you know, that's probably the pick as one of the 2 UCLA players.
Nice.
I love it.
What do you guys? Do you have any insight, Conrad, or any thoughts? Yeah.
Just pretty much piggybacking on both of y'all, and like what Con was saying too, like they're like yin and yang. You know what I mean? So, and then I was coming in, and she's just gonna be able to stretch the floor as well too. And then we seen Dominique Malonga. I've been high on her after, especially after Unrivaled, because like she gets the ball in a certain way. It's like you can't even stop her, bro. Like there's nothing you could do with her. And then she's also
Lauren Betts.
Oh, wait, did it happen? Who was that for?
Washington. I think this is the right.
Let's go.
Maxwell called it. This is the right.
So, Max, we done with me.
Well,
I will, Lauren Betts, my number 4 player on my big board, number 4 pick in the WNBA draft. I think, moving forward, I really am excited about having Lauren Betts as the, potential rim protector, future 5 of our team. I mean, I don't think we have a true 5. Shakira's kind of a, big forward, playmaking forward. Kiki Irifin's more of like a traditional power forward who's, beginning to stretch their game. So I think with Lauren Betts, it kind of gives us a new element in the front court. We now have 3 front court players who I'm very excited about, who are all young, who are all ascending, in my opinion. So, I love Lauren Betts. I love how the energy she plays with. I love her defense. I love, the play strength. I mean, her play strength's already WNBA ready. I'm excited to have her in DC. We've needed a true center, like a true dominant center for a while. So yeah, it's kind of refreshing to see us have so many, big front court players. It's been a while since the Mystics have been this big and this dynamic in the front court. So I'm excited, and we got 2 more picks in tow, and I'm excited. I want to listen to this interview, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
No, I'm just saying again, I like it. This is what I was hoping, when I made that tweet. I was like, don't feel pressured to move away from who you think is like BPA or who you think could be the better long-term piece. Matching Shakira Austin, no, again, never want to like dehumanify a player by just reducing them to a quote unquote asset. But let's be real, right? Part of matching her contract was so they don't lose an asset. The fact that Toronto deemed her worthy of that contract means she has that kind of value around the league. So why not match it, use it as a trade asset down the line if you don't feel it's working with Shakira Austin? And going back to what we were saying, again, Kiki Iriafin, great rookie year. You're showing potential. You also show a lot of areas that you need to work on. Just because you got drafted 1 year earlier does not guarantee you your spot in the rotation. It does not guarantee you. No, all I'm saying is for a team like the Mystics, I like this approach. I know sometimes people think it creates a logjam and it stifles development. I don't think so, right? I mean, competition is good, like internal, within the team. So I like it. I'm glad, and I'm with you. If they had gone Kiki Rice here, assuming that's who else they were looking at, I definitely would not have hated that. But I do like what you're saying. I mean, again, look at, it's like human evolution. Teams are getting bigger, man. Like, I mean,
well, that, and I mean, it's here's the thing. It's like Lauren Betts was the best player available at that point, and Conrad kind of hinted at it. But my personal philosophy is, if you're not a perennial contender in the WNBA, there are 2 reasons why you should always draft best player available. One, because the trade market is always volatile. There's always parity. There's always chance for opportunity to maximize whatever asset you're trying to get rid of. And 2, like, there's always chance in the draft. Like WNBA, the draft is so weird. As long as you have a first-round pick, there's always chance in the draft. So, Chicago Sky coming up.
With the 5th pick in the 2026 WNBA draft, the Chicago Sky select Gabriella Hawkins.
Whoa!
What?
Oh, Gabriella Hawkins. She didn't even come close to the Valxidate. Whoa.
Wow.
So you're telling me I got a shot at Iana Martin, huh? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're being joined here by Corbin Ford.
Yeah, what's up, Corbin?
Finally. What's good, y'all? So sorry.
Did you just see the Chicago pick?
No, who'd they get?
Gabriella Hawkins.
What?
Yes.
Freaking Jeff
The draft
Pagliosha.
just started.
Jeff Pagliosha is back, baby.
Big Jeff is in the building.
Yo, Flau'jae's still there, right?
He's all like,
back.
dude, yep. I built goodwill through free agency. Watch me now.
Watch me now. Okay, are y'all paying attention now? Great. Wait, is the chat asleep? Okay, let's do this.
Let the guards fall.
Yeah, the guards is the most important pieces right now. It's a lot of bigs throughout the leagues.
To be fair, I don't really consider Hawkeye as a guard. Ultimately, I think she's a wing. Yeah. Which I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, which I think is good. I don't really. I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm not. No. I'm just saying. I'm looking at like them long term. I mean, again, whether or not they have a place long term on the roster, but JC Sheldon is very much a 2. Rikea, I'm not really sure that she's a 2 or a 3.
She's a 3. Easily.
Yeah, I mean, I guess her best minutes come as like a small ball 4, for being real. Yeah. Hawkes, I think, is that better swingman, right? She is a 2-3. Again, these next couple draft classes are pretty point guard heavy. So I could understand if they're kind of electing to, say, hey, you know what? Maybe we can go for the wing that we think has considerable upside. We can get, a high impact point guard in the upcoming years. We already have one, technically 2, in Skylar Diggins and Courtney Vandersloot, assuming that she's ready and good to go health wise. Yeah. So it is surprising. I don't hate it. I'm not gonna act like they completely bombed the pick. Actually, I like this comment we have right here. Sky think they got the Sonya Citron. I get what. Oh my god! I get what Salty Nuts is saying. Yeah, I definitely get what he's saying.
Like that name.
No. Like, he's not the only one who said this. Remember during the Final Four, who was it? It was like Ramona Shelburne. I can't remember who else was on the broadcast comparing, Gabriela Jaquez to Sonya Citron, and I can't remember one other player. But, I mean, it's not. I don't think she definitely doesn't have like the same kind of ball handling and playmaking juice that Sonya had at Notre Dame. But in terms of, again, kind of like that connective piece, filling the gaps on both ends, I get it, Yep. But I don't know. There's a lot of people that really do believe Jaquez has more potential to be like an on-ball playmaker. I'm not saying I don't believe that. I'm just kind of skeptical to an extent. What are you?
I'm trying to make this small screen bigger within the screen.
Okay.
So I can still have the chat over here, but I can see us bigger.
Yeah, but I do like I don't know about you guys, but I think still how good of a shooter she really is. I want to see like
that's.
Salty got a point.
Well, I think, Conrad, we've talked about that before. There's like kind of two sides of the coin. Like, is she going to be, the non-conference shooter in the WNBA, or is she going to be the conference shooter in the WNBA? Is she going to benefit from having, plus playmakers around her in the WNBA and better spacing, or is she going to struggle because the WNBA is a bigger stage and is more difficult? You know what I mean? And we've talked about the, disparity in her shooting splits. I think you even mentioned it in the last episode. And that's a very fair question. I think, with the way that she's wired, I think she's going to be a good shooter in the WNBA. I don't know if she'll ever be an elite shooter, but I think she's going to be someone who at least commands a closeout and demands respect off the ball, 2 passes away, maybe even a pass away. So I think, Chicago had a good fit here, on the bench. She's not going to be starting or anything like that. And I think that's kind of a perfect spot for her. You could argue 5 may be a little bit of a reach. I personally would have liked to see Kiki Rice in Chicago, especially with someone like Skylar Diggins there.
Yeah.
And seeing Kiki Rice kind of command that second unit instead of someone like, Courtney Vandersloot coming off this injury or Rachel Bannum. That's just me personally, but I don't think this is necessarily a bad pick. I think that exactly what you're getting, and putting her as like your 7th, 8th person in the rotation and letting her kind of scale up the role with various lineups around her is going to be positive for her. And like, there's so many other players on this team that command respect, command attention from defenses that I think at the end of the day, it will benefit her. Now, what worries me also is I don't trust this front office or coaching staff at all. In fact, I think the biggest surprise of the offseason still is the fact that they retained Tyler Marsh. I think of the entire WNBA. And, not to be mean, but I was frankly surprised that he's, was retained as the head coach. So, I mean, we'll see what, lies in store for the Chicago Sky this season. But I think that Gabriela Jaquez in this construct is a good fit.
And, I think, Maxwell, the phrase there that I think is the most relevant with Jaquez as it pertains to being Chicago's pick is scaling up. Because rarely throughout the 4 years has she ever really had to scale up. And make no mistake, I'm not trying to belittle her performance in the championship game, but I'm talking about over the course of a season. Sonia, let's not forget, right? Her junior year, when Olivia was out, she was the primary playmaker. She was the primary ball handler. She did scale up, and they did see success. I think that gives, that gave front offices more optimism that she could both scale up, scale down, right? That she had that, in her offensive repertoire.
And the Mystics had the runway for her to scale.
Right.
That's the other key.
Yeah. Because I'm with you. Because, see, then, if you're telling me that... Oh, here.
With the 6th pick in the 2026 WNBA draft and their first ever pick, the Toronto Tempo select Kiki Rice.
Great pick.
Let's go.
Great pick.
There you go.
I'm with it.
Corbin, your initial reactions? Toronto's first.
I think first overall pick. I like it. You get an all-around guard, kind of a player who slots in, can do quite a few things. Love her ability to get to the lane. Love the shooting is something that's growing. Obviously her shot's already good, but I feel like in Toronto she has a really good chance of being a part of their foundation, and that's exciting. I know we talked Raven Johnson and other players of this mold, during this draft, but Kiki, that's how I feel.
Brittany Sykes, 6th person of the year. Maybe Kiki starts over Brittany Sykes.
I would. I mean, I think
Brittany
Sykes is a stabilizing
I think
veteran
at a certain
force.
point she will. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I would just let it go like that out the gate.
I'm thinking that this team would be at its maximum operating potential if Kiki Rice is starting over Brittany Sykes, and you have Brittany Sykes coming in with the second unit, dropping 19 a night, just being the classic slim that we all know and love. I love this pick for Toronto. This is, I mean, this is their future. I mean, this is like Corbin. You're talking about their foundation. I mean, this is foundational piece number one. I think every other player on the roster is potential to be gone, traded within the next 500 days, except Kiki Rice. So,
yeah.
Maybe Aaliyah Nye. Shout out Aaliyah Nye. I like Aaliyah Nye a lot. That was a good show.
Yeah, if she keeps on hitting big buckets like she was doing for the Aces, I think she'll stay around. You know what I mean?
But
I get why she wasn't protected, but I felt
that's it.
No, I'm just saying it's a little tangent there about Aaliyah Nye.
Well, at best, Aaliyah Nye's your 5th best starter, probably.
3 straight UCL players drafted 4th, 5th, and 6th. Second time in WNBA history that's happened since UConn in 2016.
There you go.
That's kind of cool. Shout out to ESPN. I didn't come up with that, but that's pretty neat.
Conrad, your Valks are coming up. And
How you feel?
Flage, Tanaya, Iana, Raven, Nell, all
You
on
got
the
the pick of
board.
the litter.
You got a
You
lot of
know me.
You got a lot of players that you like still on the board.
I do. I like all of them that you just listed. I mean, if I had my, you know me. I mean, you saw my final big board, which wasn't too different than like the previous versions, but I'm trying to think.
As they shouldn't be.
Iana Martin is still my my best player available right now. So I mean, I think a lot of Valkyrie fans are starting to understand how she would like fit and like legitimately improve the team. Make no mistake, not trying to say that like she's, better than Carla Late, or makes the team better. She's a very different type of point guard, But again, in a way, that's a good thing, just a completely different look. Then plays a different way than Veronica Burton attacks the position. So I like that. Not redundant. They can actually complement each other, and again, just brings more structure to the half court. So I'm curious, but again, I do like Flauge. I'm with you. All the ones that you last listed at this point, I think it kind of speaks to the Valks, their ability to kind of, put together a pretty well-rounded roster so far, via free agency, that you kind of have the flexibility to go in a number of directions. But with our other expansion team here, Portland, what do you think? I mean, you think they're in the same thing? They want that lead guard, or you think they're going whatever biggest upside, like maybe like a Medina Okot or something?
Honestly, this might be the Nell spot. I like Carla Late, and I wouldn't be surprised if they like Carla Late and they don't want to take the ball out of her hands and are like, let's take Nell.
Yeah.
This might be the Nell spot. I'll just say that.
I think they're gonna
go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. I was just gonna say I think they want to. I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to target highest perceived upside.
Yes, and that very well could be Nell. Is Kathy walking to the stage right now? There she is.
With the 7th pick in the 2026
no,
WNBA
she needs to be in DC.
And their first
Stop.
ever pick, the Portland Fire select Iana Martin
Fuck.
Carillon.
Fuck.
Colorado, you good? You good? I've seen a little pain in your eye.
Well, if anyone needs my analysis on Iana Martin, just rewind this video like 2 minutes.
Yeah, because you just broke it down for real.
Yeah, but again, simply put, and this is what I'm saying, right? Like the idea, we actually made this on our indie basketball collaborative mock draft, right? We did select Iana Martin to Portland for this exact same reason, right? It's not overlapping, it's not redundant, it's really like a fire and ice kind of thing, it's like that two-head, so I like it. And again, for a team like Portland, you're trying to establish an identity, again, you have someone who's a table setter, someone who could again help build that foundation, for what they want to be.
Agreed.
Do you think she comes over this year?
From everything I've been told, she is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, I think there's just like some, at least from the fans, some hesitancy or trepidation, because like a lot of these international players, right? Their national team commitments, it's not just something they do, it's something that's very much a part of their life. Like it's something they truly value. So, the idea like, would Iana Martin or Anela Angloma, would they prioritize, national team play as opposed to WNBA play? And again, that's for each player to decide. But by everything I've heard, no, she's ready to come over. Like,
okay, well then there we go.
Shout out to the Players Association for getting that deal done to make it more enticing for players to come over too. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Yeah, because I'm sure
I'm really high on Angela Dugalich, but ESPN has her ranked as the next best available player. That's pretty
high.
Pretty bold. It's pretty high, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But yeah, Valkyries. I mean, you guys named it.
8th pick In the 2026 WNBA
Uh-oh.
draft, the
Conrad,
Golden
man.
State Valkyries select Flau'jae Johnson.
Oh,
Yes. Give it to me. Give me Flau'jae.
oh my God!
Shout
Oh,
out
yeah.
to my friend Kate. We are bringing
Yo.
in Flau'jae and her producer. Okay.
Whoa. Yo.
Right.
Sorry,
pick.
sorry, chat. Sorry.
Flau'jae
Nah, you
to the
okay,
bay.
man. That's
I-
what's
Flau'jae
up.
to the
we
bay.
needed Flau'jae in the DMV. That was ridiculous. She was available at 8.
Wow.
Wow.
She's gonna fit in quite nicely in
Gonna
the
be
Bay
so good
Area.
there.
Didn't
But
we say
again,
this?
I'll you've heard how I, again, even when a lot of fans and media felt that this was a kind of a down year for Flau'jae, maybe like a step back. I think Maxwell and I have been pretty consistent in saying that we didn't really see it that way. Again, Natalie Nakase, her team does have structure, and what I've always loved about Flau'jae Johnson is her ability to play within structure, but to be able to improvise when that structure kind of collapses, right? Again, whether that's on scramble plays or you got to reset late in the shot clock. We've talked about it multiple times about how the Valkyries, they need more shot creation. They need a lot more creativity, especially like, in the mid range, right? They lacked players that had any kind of like in between game. That's why our shot profile was so predictable, right? It's trying to like basically bully our way to the cup, or we're jacking up threes. Flau'jae gives you a little bit more of that dimension, where you have to be able to account for what you can do with a live dribble. So I like it. And again, I think sometimes people see her like defensive intensity as being kind of spastic, but no. I mean, like, we've seen it. She can defend at a high level. So I'm all for it. Clearly Maxwell thinks the pick is good.
Great pick.
Corbin,
Great
I'm
pick.
curious how you feel about Flau'jae in the Bay.
You said me?
You talking Michael? Yeah.
Oh,
MJ.
Corbin.
Both of you,
No.
yeah.
Oh,
You first.
well,
MJ.
man, I'm just excited, bro, because this is really just what Golden State needed. Like a player that could really get to the cup as well and do her own thing, create her own shots and whatnot. Is if we looking at if we contrast what their offense was last year, what it probably will look like to start the year without her, but now you have her, like, man, I'm excited about this. And then she's in basically California. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are already a big market out there, whatnot, have the biggest fan base ever, and now you got Flau'jae? Like, come on, bro. This opens up because free agency isn't done. Like, what is their roster count now? Because I'm sure they're probably not done picking up the little bits and pieces of pockets of players that's left right now. So the rest of the pieces that you can add just because she's coming. You know what I mean? And then it's just gonna look nice, man. It's gonna be a really good look. Like, that's for them to lose Carla Lake and Maria Conde. That's a good pickup. I like that.
Yeah, this was the best player available by far in
For
my
real.
eyes. I mean, this is, selfishly I wanted. Yeah, it sucks that the Valkyries and the Mystics, Conrad and I's team, are picking back to back here because as you guys, if you were watching, saw my devastation there.
Facts.
This is, we talked about it on multiple podcast episodes. This is, the exact player the Valkyries need. We've talked about Tania Latson fitting here because we didn't think Flau'jae Johnson would be available at the 8th spot. And this reality that we're living in today, I don't think any mock we have done, Flau'jae Johnson has been available at 8.
No, she's not. Like, clearly not. 5, 6.
She's my 5th ranked player on my big board. I was praying she would drop to 9. This is incredible. And this is another like great coach player fit. I'm big on coach player fit. Natalie Nakase is going to love her and be able to mold her into the exact player that she wants. Phenomenal.
Earlier today, Valkyrie's admin, put out the like, hey, draft day, right? We have picks 8, 23, 38. Who do you think we can get? And I quote tweeted. I said, hey, here's a couple picks or players who I could think would be great at the pick. I didn't even list Flau'jae. I just didn't even think she'd be available. I didn't even bother, man.
yeah.
I was like, all right.
Which is fair. Yeah. Cool. No, that's probably the quote unquote steal of the draft. In where we are right now in terms of like she didn't fall a lot, but
it's
like
that or Awa.
Corbin, since you joined, I was gonna ask you that, Corbin. Since you joined after Seattle picked, and you did this last night for our live mock, you did pick Awa Fam to Seattle, but now it's different that it became reality.
Let's go.
Oh wait, pick announced?
No. I was just saying like Corbin was right. I was just hyped for Corbin.
How you now that it actually did happen? What are your thoughts?
I just want to look at people on social media who had questions about that, who wanted to come at me, my character.
Yes,
making a guy.
Yes, that's why I'm hyped.
This is why I tell people all the time. I like. I'm gonna go on a tangent here, Conrad, Maxwell, Michael. Y'all know. Well, here, the thing about taking a leap is sometimes you look crazy, right? Yeah. But sometimes you don't account for the human element.
Right.
In drafting. Like this isn't just what every conventional person would do. Because guess what? Hate to bring up an NBA analogy, 9 out of 10 people wouldn't have traded Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. That would not have happened. You got to find the one, right? I did not think that, drafting Awa Fam to Seattle was that insane. I had thoughts about it. I had good conversation with this esteemed panel here, including Kristen, right? But the idea is that, okay, if she plays the 4, Dominique can play a 5. You can have both intermatch, right? Ezzy, who knows her future there long term. Like there was enough, I don't want to say reasonable doubt. It just wasn't a lock for me that she wouldn't fit there. And I like that fit there. I like the defensive potential. I like the fact that she brings a little bit of stretch. I like the fact that she has great passing ability, right? Like you telling me that wouldn't work there just because you have 2 other front court players? I'm sorry. There's at least 4 front court rotation spots that get regular minutes in basketball games, right? So I don't know. Maybe being more assertive is what I need to do. But I thought it was a good fit as an idea. I'm happy. We'll see if it works out. Then if it doesn't, don't look at me. But like, I'm happy.
He's like, if it doesn't work out, let me defer to
Conrad. If it doesn't work out, I retract everything I just said. No, but like that's why I think there's potential there. I really do. And having a front court where you can have interchangeability between Dom and Awa, that will be interesting. If that's the future, right?
Mystics pick is in. Hopefully it's Tania Latson, then Raven Johnson. Tania Latson 9, Raven Johnson 11.
Turn up.
Mystics select Angela Dugalich.
Oh! How you feel? You got to give us the breakdown on this, because go ahead. Let me get comfortable. Let me get comfortable.
We kind of joked that they might draft all UCLA Bruins.
Are you crying?
I like Dugalich a lot. I like Dugalich, but not at 9 over Tania Latson.
Right.
That's tough. That's really surprising.
Again, we talked about it, right? You know how like teams, social media, like Twitter accounts or admins, right? They'll drop kind of like some hints, some little Easter eggs about, who the team is looking to draft. And likewise with the WNBA themselves, they only invite 15 players to, the green room, and, to walk the orange carpet. Now, to be fair, other players will be in attendance, but the 15 or whatever players that they invite, there's reason to believe they can go in the first round or, somewhere early in the second. So I had just said, right, a couple of minutes ago, I was like, it's kind of interesting how ESPN has Angela Dugalich as the next best player available. And, okay, Maxwell, let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
Given that, at least as of now, the Mystics have stood pat. Maybe they'll trade, the second and third rounders or something. But my question for you is, given that you do have multiple picks, do you feel like it's more, I don't want to say acceptable, but like you can feel more comfortable about it as a fan, given that like, well, we got bets at 4 and we have multiple, we can kind of, roll the dice. How do you rationalize that, I guess,
That really is the question.
There you go, Corbin.
here's the thing.
Nice.
let me-
you were trying to change your pick?
Let me say, I am a fan of Angela Dugalich a lot. We've talked about her on multiple pods. She's my 18th player.
He's talking about you, bro.
Yeah, he is. I'm texting him. Yup. Facts, Thomas.
Man, it's tough when the 18th player on your board goes 9. That's
where's that? Where's that
9
Michael B. Jordan picture?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This
like
is
smiling.
After he broke up with
trying
Lori
to-
Harvey and was
Yeah.
trying to smile through the pain. Yep.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Conrad. I think. Let me say that. Oh man, I'm so lost right here. I think
you like literally spent 60 seconds without actually saying anything.
Yeah, because he's distraught, bro. Like,
I think we're gonna take Raven Johnson 11 here. I think that's the next pick.
or maybe they drafted her for somebody. You know what I mean? They better have. That would be
Well,
intelligent.
I think they were worried that Fever would take Dugalich 10, so they took her 9, so they could get Johnson 11, because that's probably
'Cause they
the
don't need
other.
it.
Okay. See, this is where again, right? Our reactions are largely based on our opinion
Yes.
of these players. So, I guess my question is then, what is it that we're not? What did we not see, or what are we not seeing that the Mystics front office saw to warrant picking her here? Because I thought like, hey, right, early second round is totally in play for her, or maybe even like late, because again, right, like teams like Connecticut have multiple late first rounders. I mean, like for a player who's a little bit older compared to her other draft peers, and again, I think we all really like her skill set, but again,
Yeah,
you kind
a
of
lot.
have to contextualize everything.
And that's the thing is like, we could have potentially drafted a starter at this spot right here, and between Betts, Kiki, and Shakira Austin, Dugalich is not better than any of those players, and it's not going to warrant playing time over any of those players. So it's like, when we literally have no point guard on our roster besides Georgia Amore, who has literally not played a game in the WNBA, it's kind of concerning that was our pick there.
Pick in the 2026 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Raven Johnson.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Wait a minute.
Conrad and I
Maxwell.
pulled everyone.
Yes,
Her
talk
and
to
Caitlin used to go
Talk
at it,
about-
and they
Yes,
drafted
that's
her.
what they
Oh
were
my
And now
saying.
Conrad
Y'all
and I,
let her-
for everyone who hated on us,
Conrad and Maxwell were saying this. Now what?
this is the bet.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
I shall gladly retweet those mock drafts.
Ooh-wee.
No, again, if
Sorry,
for those,
No, Maxwell, talk it. Own that. Let's go.
Maxwell, you want to take this one, or you want me to?
Take it. I just
Okay.
struggled for the last 5 minutes.
I know. I still want. Well, you're on the clock again, barring a trade.
I might be struggling again here the next 2. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Again. See, everybody that was so negative about the idea of Raven and Caitlin, it's all narrative
Basketball.
fuel.
Yeah.
No,
It's
it's all.
basketball.
I said against. You,
Yeah.
Michael, just brought up their history as something negative, and that's the
Oh
thing.
no, it's not. It's not.
But a lot of fans do think that way, and they would think that the Fever front office would completely dismiss or not even consider the idea of drafting Raven simply because of that, when really it is all basketball. Now, again, right? If they're drafting her, they feel comfortable that this is going to work. And how could it work if we're keeping it all basketball? Again,
Man, because she's bringing defense over
the
here.
Fever
like crazy.
play at one of the fastest paces in the league,
Mhm.
right? If we're looking at this analytically, how can you stack the deck in the Fever's favor even more? By forcing the opponent for them to play at a slow pace, make them grind out possessions. And in order to do that, you need an elite point of attack defender. It doesn't get any better than Raven Johnson. You see what I'm saying? Allow the Fever to play like guns blazing on offense, force the opponent, right? Stop them, right? Make them like play like they're playing in quicksand, And then on top of that, again, I think, again, she being Raven, she's at the point where she can play together alongside Caitlin Clark. You know, I think she's a good enough catch and shoot player. But other than that, I mean, who better to quarterback the second unit? You know, and I don't say it pejoratively. She is a great game manager. She will bring, you know, a lot of stability to the second unit. You'll see less offensive and frankly less defensive lulls. You know, this is a look that they just have. Like, this is the type of dynamic they have not had, and I don't think they were going to be able to get that in free agency. You know, there's no one on their current roster who could do it. So I like this, you know.
I love it. That because what like true wing defender, guard defender do the Indiana Fever have?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, just that alone. I mean, people will say Sophie Cunningham, but it's just like, okay, outside of Sophie Cunningham, they don't have it. You know, so now you have another defender, like a really staunch, intense defender like that, who can also get her own. Like, man, it's about to go crazy. It's about to go real crazy.
What was the pick?
With the 11th pick in the 2026 WNBA draft, the Washington Mystics select Cody McMahon from All Knicks.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Is Washington pushing? I'm kidding.
Oh, crap.
Maxwell's
not talking for a while.
Can we screen grab this too quick?
That terrific start to her career at Ohio State, and then
they're gonna be okay, Max.
Wins SEC Newcomer of the Year, first team all conference, set career highs.
Okay, let's
Cody McMahon. That was the last player on my big board. That was 26 out of 26 on my big board. That was the last. That was the last possible draftable player I had on my big board.
Yeah, Cody McMahon is in. I think she's like 30 left for me.
That was the biggest reach in any WNBA draft big board I've ever made in the first round.
Okay,
let's different from any other player on the
let's mute that real quick.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Georgia A. Moore, 40 minutes. Yo, facts. She's gonna have to play the whole damn game for real.
Yeah, these are different people. Here you go, man. Here's another one. Washington have 3 first, drafting no guard.
No guards.
You know, this is the hilarious, right? Last night, did you see the comments? Actually, no, this morning, right after people digested our live mock,
I did,
they flamed us for drafting 3 guards. No, they flamed, right? Because I think I drafted one of them, Maxwell, right? They drafted us for flaming 3 guards, and the real life Washington Mystics took none. Right? They took none.
Like, come on now, go figure, man. When that's what they need.
Okay, I did say that they did. Well, no, I said front court spacing. This is like,
yeah. Wow.
Okay, I take it back,
bro. Wow, I feel you.
I take it back.
You,
Jamila Weidman is not steering this. She is not sailing the ship anymore.
Man, I don't know what's going on in Washington at this point. Is they making moves for somebody else or something? Like, who's deplete of?
I mean, at this point, who really was more pro tanking? I mean, I really feel.
To be honest with you, that might be our point guard right there. We might have just drafted our point guard. In Sydney Johnson's basketball brain, I don't know. That's why I'm so worried. I'm so worried. I don't know what Sydney Johnson's brain is thinking, but that's what I'm so worried now. Like, I don't know how Tanaya Latson is better than both of the players we just drafted.
Well, I mean, okay, to be fair, again, the reason why I have not been as high on Cody McMahon throughout this draft cycle, again, I want to acknowledge all the improvements she's made, but again, like the nature of her game, which is, again, you could tell me maybe I'm not giving it enough credit, but it's a lot of bully ball. Let's be real. Like her quote unquote 3-point shooting improvements, it's not a significant enough volume or sample size to feel confident about. Actually, here, you know, again, Antonio saying himself, right? I mean, you're 6 foot small forward, you can't shoot. I mean, it's true. God. Because that's the thing, right? Like we were talking about, like kind of comparing her to like an Anissa Morrow. Like I get that she has the motor, but I mean, she doesn't have the rebounding equity that Anissa Morrow has.
And we don't need that player. We just don't need that player. Sorry,
it doesn't. I just, again, given that it is a first rounder too, with that level of a salary commitment, like cap hit, yeah, like I feel like I'm with Maxwell. You kind of just lost in the rotation, or I don't know. I mean, I'm sure she'll definitely get opportunities.
There's a chance
but...
she's not in the league in 2 years. I mean, I'm not trying to be like a doomsday, reactor here, but like, there were multiple players that were still available for me in tier 2 that fill way bigger needs than what I mean, Dugalich is still, I mean, almost 10 spots higher for me. So I mean, this really it's just confusing to me. It makes me question what type of lineups they're envisioning. Like, is Georgia Amore? Are you that sure about Georgia Amore? See, I'm not sure of anyone until I can see them. I mean, especially like a player who's that small, who's just come off a serious injury, who already was at a deficit athletically.
Yeah.
It just like, and you're hitching your wagon. And I hope Georgia Amore's fantastic. Obviously, I mean, we spent such a high pick on her, but at the same time, like, I think it's malpractice to draft 3 front court players when you already have an all-star and then a most improved player who you just gave a 3-year contract to, and now you're spending multiple millions, 3 picks in the first round on front court players. Like, that's just malpractice, in my opinion. Like, and like, I'm now out of the point of crashing out, and I can just be upset. Like, this is not a good first round. This was not a good first round. And like, the people who were like, oh, trust Michael Winger, trust Sydney Johnson, this sucks. Like, this is not good. This is not good value. This was not good management of picks. Now, granted, we could potentially make a trade or things could happen. Yeah, McMahon being ranked number 6 by ESPN, that's insane.
See, was that like Intel
insane.
Based? The fact that they had
based.
Cody McMahon and Dugalich ranked that high? Like, I mean,
well, you know what happened is they probably asked Washington, who had Dugalich as like their 4th player and Cody as their 6th player, and then they probably asked like Chicago or Connecticut, who had her high as well. I mean, they probably asked 2 of the teams who had her higher, who would have like overdrafted her. So I just, I don't, man, there's players with higher upside, more, versatility, more scalability, more role malleability heading into the WNBA, especially in the backcourt. I mean, Tanaya Latson was a player that you could have drafted there that could be a potential point guard in the WNBA, potential combo guard. She's already shown she can be an off guard. Like, I thought there was a potential for her to potentially play any of the 3 guard positions in the WNBA. And so passing on a player like that, I think is a surefire top 10 player in this class is unbelievable to me. Absolutely unbelievable, especially when you need athleticism, you need speed, and you need youth. Like, Tanaya Latson was a layup at that point. So just, oh man, it's just absolutely wild to me. So it makes me wonder too. It makes me wonder if this is Sydney Johnson's doing, if this is Michael Winger's doing. So,
well, that's the thing, right? I mean, like, you would think that, again, right? You're entrusting Sydney Johnson again to basically kind of have like acting GM duties or whatever, right? Without having the official title. Like, what I don't understand is in his exit interview last year or last season, at the end of last season, right? He was saying that a lot of their offensive lulls had to do
with the 12th pick in the 2026 WNBA draft. The Connecticut Sun select Nell Angloma from France.
Right. All right, we got another one. There we go. Well, I want to go back to the Washington talk because I think right now their Mystics are probably going like, but real quick, let's give Nell Angloma like her due. I've said all along, I really like what the Connecticut Sun are building. I really like that they have like length and lateral quickness at every position. So again, Layla Lacan, Sanaya Rivers. I like Aaliyah Edwards. They brought back Ono, right? They brought Olivia Nelsonadota back.
Yep.
Who else am I missing? Am I missing anyone?
Did you say they have Kennedy Burke, Brittany Griner's now there?
Yeah, Brittany Griner, Candy
did
Burke.
you say Leah Edwards, my girl?
Saw Leah Edwards, yeah.
Diamond Miller's there now. Shout out.
Oh, that's right. She's long. But my point being, though, again, right? Like they really, even last year, and again, I know their record wasn't particularly great, but they showed the ability to kind of start be able to switch. You had a lot of like defensive playmaking, largely due to their length. So I like the idea of them adding someone like Nell Nkloma, someone who really does, again, have like that length and that athleticism. Again, as she is still developing, her 3-point shot. Again, what she can do as a slasher, what she can do inside. Again, her footwork, her ability to kind of like box out, how springy she is, like on the offensive glass. Again, I don't want to say like an Anissa Morrow type, but I mean, I think kind of like her current approach is similar, in terms of the way in which she can get into the paint, despite being kind of like a quote unquote undersized forward. Because again, they'll call her guard, they'll call her small forward. She really plays more like a 4. Yeah. Again, and the team, their timeline fits what they're trying to do. So yeah, I think this is good. Like if there's a team to go to where she can get the necessary reps, I like this. If it wasn't, well, the Washington Mystics, but so
yes, Tonio.
yeah. I'll say this about the fit with Connecticut Sun before we bounce back to the Mystics chat is I really like the idea of the Lacan, Sanaya Rivers, Nkloma, Anissa Morrow, Olivia Nelsonadota, Aaliyah Edwards, like that combination of 6 players, whatever lineup you want to construct out of that 6, like you just have defense versatility, you have athleticism, you have speed, you have players who thrive in transition for the most part, all 6 of those players. Like I think that's exactly what Rashid wants, and I think this is a good fit for the Suns. So good pick here.
Nice.
Conrad, you said you wanted to bounce back to the
well, again, I just with Sidney Johnson, at the end of last year, he was saying that a lot of like their stagnation on offense was due to their poor spacing because he didn't have enough shooters, which I always
go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
Maxwell looks pissed. Sure.
Hey, I would. Hey,
at this point in time,
hey, let's go. I would love Roy Harmon 19. That would cheer me up. That's a good show.
No, but I think I never like when I don't like when coaches say that the success of their system is like dependent on 3-point shooting. Like it's if I don't have it, and that's what he was basically saying to me. So the fact that to me that means you should probably try to adjust your system, right? Where it's not so dependent. I mean, the Valkyries found ways to win games. They freaking shot like the worst 3-point percentage in the league, and they got the most 3-pointers up. All I'm saying is, hey, if that's the way you want to operate, that's your MO. Wouldn't it behoove you as the coach, as GM, to get more shooting?
With the 13th pick,
agreed,
in the 2026 WNBA draft, the Atlanta Dream select Medina Okoth, University of South Carolina.
That's not a bad backup. Not a bad backup, and is insurance for any injuries to Brianna or Angel or missed time. I think that's a good pick. That's a good pick for them. They're good. They already top heavy. You know what I mean? That starting 5 is top heavy as hell.
Can I?
Jordan Canada is healthy. Go ahead.
Can I say I think it's pretty surprising Tanai Latson has now fallen outside of the top 13 picks.
Same thing with Gianna Neekins.
Yeah.
Like Gianna, I mean, I had Gianna Neekins 12, so I'm like, I'm a little shocked there, but maybe I was too high on Tanaya Latson.
I think a lot of
league,
people like Flau'jae. A lot of people are very negative. They're very down on Tanaya Latson because, again, this perceived, regression. Simply because her counting stats aren't as impressive as what they were at Florida State.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't really feel like that's the case. I'm not going to say that she came out of South Carolina a perfect player, but I don't think she regressed.
Right. That's like saying Aaliyah Boston fell off just because her last season she was a little more lax. You know what I mean? She was a little more lax that last season, but you got to make room for people that's coming in.
There's truth to that. Basketball, there's 5 players.
That's how basketball works. Sometimes it's not your year. You're 2 points down. You're 1 rebound less. You're and it just work. It might even work better. Sometimes less is more. It just might be what's needed on the floor.
And what's needed for wins. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Oh, I like Medina Okat's fit.
Yeah.
You got this little pinstripe suit going on.
Right. Almost perfect. If it would have matched the color of the jersey all the way, yeah.
I like what the Dreamer doing. Big Carl. Shout out Big Carl. That's my guy. That's my favorite coach on the W right now.
Okay.
Let's get
So Conrad, let me ask you.
Please.
Who are your let's imagine we're in the ESPN, draft coverage. Who are your 5 best available players based on your big board right now?
Thank you. We're about to. Let me actually.
We're ending, or we're getting to the end of the first round, so I think it's maybe a good time for us to kind of talk about who's the best players available.
While I pull that up.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. Oh wait, it was in my inbox. My God, jeez, I'm an idiot. Can you I want your thoughts on Medina Okot in general, because Maxwell, I don't think you had her. Did you have a first round grade for her?
I didn't. I had a second
neither
round
did I
grade for her.
So I'd like to hear your kind of take on Okot in this fit with Atlanta.
Let me say this. I was just talking about how much I love Big Carl. I think this is probably not the big player, big forward or center, that I expected the Dream to take, especially having Angel Reese as your, kind of primary center right now. I would have expected maybe a Frida or a Marta Suarez, or maybe someone who could space the floor a little bit more, maybe someone who can thrive a little bit more in transition. I think with Okot here, the vision is kind of, just immediately backing up Angel Reese. If that is her future, I mean, the biggest player they have on their bench right now, I think, is Naz Hillman.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, who else do they have? Tina Pau. Trying to think.
Wait, we just missed a pick.
Oh shoot!
Season as well. Final 2 games.
This is insane.
What?
What happened?
Okay, so ladies and
Conrad,
gentlemen,
go up. Yeah, go up.
The Seattle Storm. Yeah, the Seattle Storm selected Duke point guard Taina Mayer at 14. Yeah. I'm sorry, I had to confirm.
Do we want to keep doing the audio, because it's going to start to go really fast? So do you just want to talk about the picks once they come up? Because that was really fast right there.
I mean, yeah, as they start going a rapid fire, we could probably cut the audio. But I mean,
okay, cool.
But let's see. Well, okay, to answer your question and to address the Seattle Storm selection of Tina Mayer, Tina Mayer was not the next highest ranked player on my board. It was very much Tanaya Latson.
Yeah. Why is she falling like this?
I don't think it's a matter of falling. These are teams reaching. And this is what I was, kind of talking about on the timeline earlier today, was these teams, for example, Washington, Seattle, Connecticut, you have multiple picks, which basically means if you take the quote unquote, whatever, the widely accepted or the safe pick, earlier in the draft, it kind of gives you that sense of comfort to gamble. And I think we could see, as we are seeing now, teams kind of quote unquote reach on players. Now, again, right? I mean, like we're saying reach because we didn't have these players. I'm not gonna lie. For transparency, I had Tina Mir as my 78th ranked prospect.
Wow.
People will make fun of me all the time for like going past like 30 to begin with, but I like to be thorough for like players that you want to monitor when they potentially like maybe go overseas, and you think, you know, after, you know, a couple overseas stints, they come back more ready for the dub. That's kind of how I envision Tina Mir. Okay.
I got a question.
There you go.
Gianna Neepkins.
And with the 15th overall pick, the Connecticut Sun select Gianna Neepkins. So Gianna Neepkins rounds out the first round, which is pretty incredible.
That's shocking.
Incredible. I mean, like,
sorry, you leave Rick, but Rick don't leave you.
Froze yourself. That's shocking. Your screen froze.
Hashtag analysis right there, dude.
Con, I wanted to ask you though.
Please.
With them drafting Taina, are they able to put her in that? Bless you. Are they able to put her in that developmental role with them being drafted? Or are they guaranteed since it's in the first round for that far down in the first round? Okay.
My understanding, it's guaranteed. So if she's on the roster, she's on the 12-player roster. Right. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. So anybody who knows otherwise, feel free to drop that in the chat. Yeah. My understanding is second and third round players are eligible, and then players that are like street free agents that, you know, have three or fewer years of WNBA experience.
Yeah.
I think Connecticut came out with a nice first round haul to basically be working with two late first rounders, and they got, am I right? Is that right?
Yeah.
They got
Nell and Gianna with 12 and 15.
Gianna. They basically that's what they wanted. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh, wow, that's a beautiful moment. You see Gianna Neepkins' family. Like tears of joy. That's great. Yeah. You know. But getting back to what we were saying, yes, Tonio, we will be live for round 2. You know, I think it's gonna go a little bit faster. You're gonna need to see. I mean, Washington, they have not traded any of their picks yet. So I mean, you thought Maxwell's done crashing out. You never know.
Hold on,
because Maxwell, what's your next pick coming up? What's Washington's next pick?
19.
So if Taina Latson is on the board at 19, okay. So,
no.
Right back, fellas. I'm about to go use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, no, take your time. So for me, Maxwell, on my board, so I basically crossed out everybody who's gotten drafted so far. So for me, my next best available, Taina Latson.
Yeah.
Frida Buner from Germany.
Yeah.
Right. Played for Estudiantes in Spain. USC's Cara Dunn. Right?
Shout out.
The other UCLA Bruin, Charlize Leisure-Walker.
Okay.
Then Tony Morgan from Kentucky. Lonnie White, shooting guard Lonnie White from Utah.
Yep. And
Saffron Shields from Australia. They're like a definitive tier there. Then there's the next tier, but yeah. So for me, at least.
I have Cara, Frida, and CLW also, you know, in that shared, you know, next available. Obviously, Tania's my best available, but
yeah,
you know, it's going to be interesting here. I mean, Seattle's picking 16th, and they just drafted, you know, Taina Mir. I mean, who knows where they go from here?
Actually, Maxwell, Tonio drops this in the chat because I know we've actually talked about this player a lot on all of our shows on East Meets West and Indie Basketball. You say Janai
Tonio,
Biggie Bag.
Tonio, that's my guy, or that's my girl. Sorry, pardon me, but that's like pick 30 range. That's pick 30 range. You know, pick 19 range. You know, listen. Let me tell you, Janiah Barker on my big board. Tonio is 14. So picking Janiah Barker at 19. I have no problem. You know what I mean? That's the second best pick to stomach. I have her ranked above the 2 picks that we drafted in the first round. So I could stomach Janiah Barker going in the second round. But I think with the players available, I mean, we still have Taina Latson available. I mean, Frida is still available, who I have ranked above the other 2 first-round picks that we selected, as do I. Janiyah Barker. I mean, Sarah Williams is interesting. I have her also ranked above both first-round picks. So yeah, I like Janiyah Barker a lot, but value-wise, it would be the second best value pick according to my board and according to what I believe. But at the same time, it's almost malpractice to go 4 for 4 on front court players when you literally do not have a starting point guard that has played a WNBA game. The only experienced guard that you have on your roster is Sonia Citron. Like, Lucy Olsen has the second most experience. Like, Michaela Onyenwere, I'm not considering her a part of our backcourt. She is a small forward, wing. I'm talking about pure guards. We have one guard that has legitimate experience, and our second best guard is Lucy Olsen currently, as far as proven WNBA tangible talent. So I think you got to go. I mean, CLW is a good pick coming up here. I mean, Toni Morgan's a little bit lower for me. She's 21, but at 19, I don't hate that. But yeah, I don't know if Janiyah Barker just positionally is the best pick at 19, but with who knows what Sydney Johnson's thinking.
Okay. I mean, I feel like it's a dumb question to ask what was the biggest surprise of the first round, because literally half the first round were surprises, some good, some, I wouldn't say bad. Well, maybe Maxwell might say bad, but I mean, yeah, going back to what Michael brought up a good point. That the fact Michael's question already implies, kind of a majority of our evals of Tina Mayer. No one's saying that she's not a good prospect, but the idea that, someone who is well outside of probably most drafters, top 30, I'm being very conservative. I mean, I think I already said where she was ranked for me, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that? Like, obviously, again, right? You have a new head coach in Sonia Rahman, who has very stellar reputation of player development, a great tactician. I mean, if we're trying to see it the way they're seeing, how do you think they are kind of, making sense of not only taking Tina Mayer, but taking her this early in the draft?
Ooh, Martha Suarez to the Storm.
There we go.
Sorry, I don't understand that pick. I think that's the most surprising pick. I mean, a player I didn't even have as a draftable player.
That's wild.
As far as grade wise, just went first round. So, and here's the thing: is like, if you're a WNBA fan, like, and you've followed the WNBA for a while, like, that's not commonplace. I think that happens every draft at some capacity or another, depending on how you view certain players, especially near, after the consensus top, 4 to 8 usually. Usually get some surprises at the end of the WNBA draft, but I mean, that wasn't even a player that I had as like a camp invite player, and great player. I'm not trying to disparage her, but just as far as the other players and talent available, I don't even know if she's a WNBA athlete. So that was kind of my I mean, there's just a lot of other worries there, but like, I don't know what WNBA skills she has. I don't know if she's a WNBA athlete. Well, I know she's not a WNBA athlete. So, between not having a like signature WNBA skill that I know I can hang my hat on, probably, not a WNBA athlete at this point, probably won't be, probably is going to be overpowered. I'm ragging, but like, I don't, some of these,
Misery,
every year you get your mind blown.
Misery likes company, right? So there you go. ESPN's currently showing a graphic of Seattle's first 3 picks, which are Awa Pham, Tina Mayer, and Marta Suarez. I think to all varying degrees, we like these players. But Michael, you are really high on
Marta.
Do we already know the next pick? What's going on?
No, I gotta. Sorry, I was trying to just
I'm
cut
gonna say
myself
that.
out. I'm just laughing.
Okay, no, sorry, I just saw the group chat. Michael, Marta Suarez to the Storm. I know you were really high. You kind of gave a nice little explanation of how you thought she could, how the Fever could benefit from drafting her, but she ends up going to Seattle, first pick of the second round. Obviously, they're kind of, Seattle's kind of like in a soft rebuild here, right? But what do you think? What do you think about now?
I love this pick because of Dom. You know what I mean? And
there you go.
And then we don't know what's going to happen with Ezzy, but you stretching the floor. If Ezzy's still there, you're stretching the floor for even Ezzy too. You know what I mean? So it's going to they're looking to likely play inside out. You know what I mean? After losing pretty much everything except Ezzy for the most part, they're going to just rebuild through Dom, and that's not a bad way to go. Like if she's anything like what Unrivaled was, you could just dump it into her and she could just finish the way that she does and whatnot and do the things that she do on the floor. Plus, Wafam, like, bro, it's going to get crazy over there. You know what I mean? So it might take a year for them to really get into, or maybe half a season, because the ladies don't usually take that long. Maybe the learning curve is a little shorter or whatnot, but they should be fine. And then putting the backpack on Dom instead of having it go, where you're trying to get some best to try to, eke a win in, the championship win in, and just going youthful now is probably the way to go, to be honest. Because how long do the Aces have to, be this good? I mean, maybe they will be good for another 5 to whatever, because they just still young too. So, but yeah, Seattle is setting themselves up to make some really good strides as they go on. You know what I mean? They'll be one of those young teams that just keeps getting better and better.
Whoa! The Valkyries just traded Flau'jae Johnson for Marta Suarez and a 2028 second round pick. Flau'jae Johnson is now a part of the Seattle Storm.
Oh, see what I'm saying? Oh my God!
In Marta Suarez and a second round pick.
You lying, bro?
No, I swear to God. I swear to God.
Where's this?
Flau'jae Johnson it just popped up on the screen. Sorry, I had to interrupt because that's like an insane trade.
Big.
And Frida just got drafted by the Fire. The Fire just got Iana and Frida. What a draft for the Fire.
Would you call their draft straight
for the
Fire?
What a wild trade for the Valves.
I guess not.
Flau'jae to the
Fire to yeah. Sorry, Corbin.
No, all good. All good. I'm not adding much, so I got to have my jokes.
I was just about to ask, like, what's the deal with no trades, but
then we get a big one out of nowhere.
Then that just popped up on the. Why would they make that trade? That's such a bad value trade for the Valves.
Oh, here we go.
What the entire hell, bro?
Wow. Okay.
We can't hear.
Okay. Wow. I'm not okay. Let me rationalize this. This is my turn. Okay. Guys, take over for a second. Talk about Frida. Talk about Frida Buhner real quick. Let me read the details.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. Let me talk about Frida Buhner. The Portland Fire right now do not have a starting power forward. I mean, Bridget Carlton, is going to be one of the forwards in there. I'm assuming Meg Gustafson is probably going to be the starting center at this point.
Okay.
Insert. Wow, who did they just draft? Wow. Frida Buhner. Sorry. Insert Frida, who's arguably the best, power forward available for a team that needed a power forward. Pick 17. You get arguably the best power forward. Young, not young, but younger compared to the other college players. I mean, she's 21, going to turn 22 pretty soon. But I like this pick a lot for Portland. I mean, for your very first draft, you get Iana and Frida. I mean, 2 great building blocks.
Yeah.
And the Sun are picking right now at 18. And they pick CLW.
There you go. And this again, right? With Charlize Ledger Walker, we've talked about it enough. How we've mocked her to different teams like the Washington Mystics or the Seattle Storm. Again, a lead guard who actually can, in a way, do a number of things that you'd expect from other positions. Really, really impressed me this last season at UCLA. Essentially, in a 4-guard lineup, at times playing the 4. Again, will she be playing 4 at the WNBA level? No. But again, it's those types of things, the cutting, amazing cutter, great screener, a really good off-ball screener too, all those things that I think you want to be able, again, you want to be able to put, say, like a Layla Khan or Sinai Rivers in a position to get them downhill. You know how great they are once they get the step on their defender. Someone like CLW can really help that. Okay, I'm going to try to rationalize, and I don't think I have a good one. But I'm trying, right? Like, so basically, the Valkyries, essentially, they traded down. They traded the draft rights of Flaugier for the draft rights of Marta Suarez, and in addition, the Valkyries will be getting a 2028 second-round pick from the Seattle Storm. Not a first-round pick, a second-round pick. Now, the only real, right now, for me, and again, I need some of our friends at TCH, like a Brianna Carter, to help me with the salary cap and everything like that, or even Josh Earl. Josh is good, even though he's more of an NBA salary cap guy.
Shout out Josh.
Yeah.
Shout out to Josh.
If they really wanted Marta Suarez in the first round, not maybe at 8, but let's say they wanted they were willing to draft her somewhere in the late first round. There's significant savings then between getting her at the 15th overall pick and the 16th overall pick. That's one avenue there, because this is not hopium. I just still believe the Valks are trying to position themselves for one last big move.
Yeah.
And specifically, I think that big move is now. I think I have basically kind of heard some murmurings that they have been at the forefront, the most aggressive team trying to trade for Ezi Magabor. So I could understand if this is a trade that kind of sets up, like it's a precursor, right? Because even before we got on, someone was asking, like, okay, let's say the Valks are still willing. Let's say Seattle lucks into an Awafam. Do we have the requisite cap space? It's kind of tight. Well, you look at it. Chechi took kind of like a smaller deal. Kayla Thorin, Veronica Burton, right? They saved a little bit, but they needed a little bit more wiggle room. Could this be the wiggle room? Because then that goes back to what Michael's saying. We like Marta Suarez. Maybe she's not ready for day one to be on the active roster. Let's put her in a developmental spot. Let's really stretch this out. This is my only theory. This could be totally wrong, but I am not going to lie. I'm bummed because, again, I think the type of caliber that Flaugier is, both personality and her skill set, I think it's still something. Make no mistake. I mean, like Gabby Williams, VB, they got a lot of fire.
We passed Tanaya Latson again for Cassandra Prosper. What are we? What are we doing?
Okay.
Maxwell, this is a humiliation ritual for you. I'm so sorry. That's what this is for you.
So, Michael, I hope that you can clip that segment and you can make that into short, and people can tell me later I was completely just wishful thinking.
AI, make sure you clip the last 5 minutes of what was discussed. Chop it up perfectly.
Yep, they've already given Marta Suarez her graphic and photoshopped her in a Valks jersey. This is real.
Wow.
Man, I don't even know how to feel or think no more. The Flaugier stuff just threw me. I mean, I like her in Seattle with what they got going on, but me and you, kind like we covered the Valkyries, and it's just like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on now. I'm feeling like Max. Well, no, I'm not feeling like Max. Let me not crap on what you feeling right now. I can only imagine.
No,
sorry, I'm frozen on this graphic that ESPN's showing on the screen of our 4 picks.
Okay, I gotta say again, if we didn't know what. I'm not again. I'm not just okay. Well, let's put this out because it's funny to me. Maxwell crashed out. Yeah. I think he's beyond. He's
indeed.
He's already
they drafting trash.
Okay, here is what I was going to say about this recent pick. So the Washington Mystics at pick number 19, they select Cassandra Prosper. from Notre Dame, who, interestingly, you rarely see this, that someone forgoes their final years of eligibility. Because technically, I believe she could have had up to 2 more years, with like her waivers and everything like that. But again, if you had no idea what the Washington Mystics did in the first round, Cassandra Prosper, I was talking to Maxwell about this. Like, if there's someone who could creep their way, well, turned out there's a lot of players who crept their way into the first round. But we had actually talked about this off air. We thought Cassandra Prosper could potentially be one who could maybe go late first, early second. Again, her skill set, kind of being able to be effective, really, again, a very long, rangy combo forward. Not really a big wing, not quite a power forward, but quite the combo forward. Again, in a vacuum, a very intriguing prospect. Where again, in the second round, I think it's both great value and the upside warrants the pick. So I'll say that for the positive. Now put the context back into it. And okay, take it away, Maxwell.
Yeah, I mean, here I am with the context of another, front court player added to the rotation. I'm going to DC this week, so maybe I'll get a Georgia Amore jersey since the wagon's been hitched to her, like we're traveling across country in the Oregon Trail. Yeah, wow. Another player that I didn't have necessarily ranked as a draftable player, and Conrad said that we had talked about her off air as an interesting gamble, which I think she is, but when you're talking to the WNBA draft, there's definitely levels between an interesting gamble and a player who could potentially scale or scaffold into something bigger, and a player who you're willing to pay 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, a week after their college season ends, right? And I think she kind of falls into that latter category for me. But obviously I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful as a Mystics fan. Like, I hope that there's value that we can get out of having Cassandra Prosper on our team. Obviously, as Conrad said too, she forgoed some eligibility to be in this draft. I don't even know if that was the right decision. I think if you look at some of the front court players that could potentially be available next year, some of the wing players that could be available next year, as far as her contending with those type of players, I think there's definitely something to be said about that, and her being able to potentially vault her way into maybe the top 10 next year. So, I mean, I was, surprised that she was in this draft to begin with, considering what she probably could have went back to school, made as far as NIL, and then also been able to develop and boost her stock heading into next year. But I don't think it's a bad problem to have a player like that in your program. So I think this is probably one of the better picks we've made. But again, I think it's malpractice to pass up on Tania Latson. I mean, there's I think if Tania Latson, I mean, we're on pick 20 and she hasn't been picked yet. So I mean, that kind of makes me think, and maybe we need to have this conversation as a group, like, what is the reason why she's fallen?
I was just about to ask
far. Like, I think consensus, she was a top 10 player, right? I mean, has anyone seen her not ranked in the top? Maybe dozen, right? Top dozen. I mean, now we're at pick 20. I mean, this is middle of the second round. She's not getting guaranteed money. Now there's a chance she's not even going to be on the WNBA roster, in a couple weeks. Like, I mean, this is pretty crazy to me. But maybe my evaluation was wrong. Maybe all of our evaluations are wrong, and maybe she shouldn't have been drafted that high. But what are your guys' thoughts about that? Because this is pretty surprising, especially for how gifted of an athlete she is. Like, it's wild.
No, I mean, I'm definitely with you. It's hard to have much of a counterpoint when I think you and I kind of saw her similarly. Maybe not quite exactly the same on our respective big boards, but I think we kind of, our assessment of her skill set and how we valued them was similar.
For sure.
If the concerns, I don't understand. Yeah, if the concerns really are about her ability to like be a consistent shooter or a consistent.
Tania Latson just got drafted by the Sparks. There we go. Sorry.
Wow.
Keep going, Conrad.
No, there you
Talk
go.
about her to the Sparks.
And I think
like that fit.
I do. Yeah. Corbin, why do you like the fit? Take it away.
I think you have a contending team in the Sparks, or at least a team that is signaling the intentions to contend. And you get a player who in the backcourt is, I wouldn't say a change of pace, but a different look. Like, you don't lose any of the intensity from, you got Kelsey Plum on your neck, you got the front court scoring there, and then you have a player like Latson who's dynamic, who gets the ball to the basket, great speed,
Right.
open court, can shoot the ball really well. Like, because she's not starting, right? But you get another player who can bring. I don't want to. I'm not comparing her to Kelsey Plum, but like a similar style, up and down, deadly 3 levels. What has led her team in scoring the last 3 years in college, right? I think that her ability to play with more space than she's had, right? Like, no disrespect to Raven Johnson, but she's gonna have more space with her backcourt partner, right? A player who is a fast-paced, up and down, modern offensive style, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that you look at where she's going and the principles offensively that the Sparks have really started to employ. Really starting last year. With Lynn Roberts, but will only continue. Like, she's gonna flourish in that spot. I'm surprised she slipped this much, but like, I do think her defense will be nice, whatever she brings, and then offensively, like, come on now.
I think it's also interesting, like, if you're looking at the Sparks, you talked about her having some similarities to Kelsey Plum. I think she has some similarities to Erica Wheeler.
Ooh, I like that better.
I think the pace of play, the change of pace, the athleticism, the ability to get downhill, the ability to attack. I think all of those things are, I don't want to say it's like a direct player comp, but I think it's really fun if you think about, like, if the Sparks are going to play Erica Wheeler, Kelsey Plum, and Ariel Atkins, like, as a backcourt trio, I know they just brought my girl Julie Van Loo back in, and I really like, if you got Julie Van Loo and Tanaya Latson coming off the bench together, I think that's a really interesting duo. I think Julie Van Loo is one of the most underrated players in the WNBA. She's one of the most consistent rotation guards in the W. She makes players around her better. And someone like Tanaya Latson playing with Julie Van Loo coming off the bench, plus Wheeler, Atkins, Plum, players, especially Wheeler and Plum, who like to play in transition. I think this is a good team fit for her. So, the fall was tough, but ending up in Los Angeles and kind of being that like 5th guard in their rotation, with Van Loo, I like that a lot. So, not a bad landing spot, I would say.
Chicago just drafted Latasha Lattimore.
Whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
I'll take this one.
Coach Yo is happy. Coach Yo is happy.
Wow, dude. Yeah. Latasha Lattimore, actually, I just tweeted about her this morning. I said I thought she'd make a great 3rd round pick for the Valkyries. So but I still stand by what I said, in the sense I think Latasha Lattimore, I really love. I really feel that she has a lot of untapped potential. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we saw some flashes of what she can do, but they were few and far between. They were very much flashes, and that's not to question like her. Oh wow, we're coming in really quick.
Yeah,
now.
Tiona Key just got picked.
Okay, so my Valks are up next. So
yeah, they usually run the 3rd round for sure. The 3rd round.
Selfishly, I would like Cara Dunn.
Okay.
But I'm willing to take a number of these other. There's a lot, Sarah Williams would be nice here. I would even actually be cool with
Say it.
Bag herself, Janiyah
Let's
Barker.
go. Come on.
Thank you.
I don't feel good about the 1st round
like
capital, but I think with the 2nd round pick, you got some wiggle room and everything like that. Who else is still available? Saffron Shields, very high on. Dariana Littlepage Bugs.
Tony Morgan still available.
Actually, Justine Passau, I would really love. Justine Passau, stretch 4 from Vanderbilt.
Kara Dunn's still available.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Latson fell a little bit more, that would have been cool. Obviously, like whoa, for the Valks. But I don't know if there's that same kind of shot creation threat in this range. Oh, Brianna, our friend. Okay, friend of the show, friend of TCH, friend of everything. Brianna Carter just tuned in to say, my Mystics. Yep.
Yeah, Max has been going through it.
Yep.
In Sydney, we trust.
Okay.
Oh, the Valk selection. Valk selection.
What we got?
Ashlyn Jackson.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I know I didn't just say her name. Okay.
Conrad.
No, you didn't.
What are we thinking here?
Ashlyn Jackson. Okay, well, again, for full transparency, where was she on my board? Not that my board is everything. But she was not that. She was ranking fairly high. No, maybe not super high. Okay, she was 41st on my board. I don't hate it. Jackson was ranked number 9 by ESPN. Well, there you go. Clearly,
Wait. ESPN had her as a top 10 player.
Maybe it was at 9th best remaining. I don't know.
That's
yeah. Oh, here. Whoa, we're going quick here, man.
If you can, yeah.
Chance Gray. All right, I love it.
Ooh.
Chance Gray from Ohio State to the Sparks. That's really cool. Great shooter.
Justine
fantastic shooter. Who?
Justine just went to the Fever.
Oh my God. There you go. That's what
holy shit. And the tempo just picked Saffron Shields.
What?
They're just like saying this all at the same time. Next is
No,
like these are coming in
that
hot.
just happened in 40 seconds.
Hot and heavy.
Not
hot and heavy. Sorry.
Like they have like no patience. And there's like a freaking like football commercial. I mean,
like give us some peace.
But we'll talk about a couple of these players. Yeah. Ashlyn Jackson, obviously I think we know how great of a defender she is, and obviously easily fits into the Valkyries defense first mindset. I do have concerns. I have legitimate concerns about the extent of her offense. She's a high IQ player. She has fairly good court vision, but the shot making is just as inconsistent as the shot creation. You have a lot of stretches where it seems like she disappears because she's not a factor. So again, I can understand if she's a candidate for one of those developmental spots. I personally don't feel comfortable putting her on the 12-player roster. And yeah, I'm not disappointed in the pick, but again, it's kind of like with Maxwell, you see the other players available that maybe at this point you feel comfortable, or you feel like your team should maybe address for need. And I don't know that Ashlyn Jackson really addresses any of those needs. We just brought in one of the best wings, in the WNBA in Gabby Williams. I know Ashlyn Jackson is more of a guard. I don't know if I see her as a guard at the WNBA level. I think she's more like,
I agree.
So I'm not as optimistic, or not optimistic. I'm not as in love with this pick. Like the Suarez pick. Okay, cool. Do I like the process and how they went about acquiring her? Not necessarily. That's debatable about whether or not they could have gotten a little bit more appealing draft capital rather than a second round pick. I don't know. But Suarez definitely will play.
Oh, Mercury, please take Janiah Barker here for Corbin.
Please do.
Damn it.
Who they take?
They took a stash. They took a stash for you,
Idiots.
Corbin. They took a Nez.
Ooh. Really good player. Again,
Conrad, that's probably your wheelhouse to talk about that pick.
Well, I will get to her in a second. But what was I gonna say?
You were talking about the process with Marta Suarez and how it wasn't.
Oh
maybe
yeah,
the most
yeah.
ideal.
I mean, again, it's just kind of like what we were saying about Cassandra Prosper, right? Like in the proverbial vacuum, it's a nice pick, but when you have it like, when you take the entire draft haul all together, kind of leaves a little bit to be desired. What are your thoughts about Justine Passat to Fever?
I think that's a great pick right there. I mean, like the Fever took Raven Johnson and Justine. I mean, I think those are two players who could possibly be in their 12. I mean, well, Raven's going to be, but I think Justine has a chance. I mean, I think we could see another former SEC big who was drafted to the Fever last year potentially get superseded by Justine in that rotation. So I think that was a great value pick for them. Justine was someone that I had, ranked on my big board as a draftable player, someone who could potentially be a possible roster piece. And I think she fits nicely alongside the perimeter players and would be a nice complement to Aaliyah Boston. So I like that pick. Well, I think that's one of the best second round picks.
Yeah, great value for the selection. Not a whole lot there for me to say. Where is Janai getting picked second round?
We
kind of talked about.
Well, wait, we do have the Aces and the Mystics again coming up.
Oh,
yeah,
the Aces. That'll be their next Melissa Smith.
Hey, Tonio might be foreshadowing something here, though. Roy Harmon could potentially be a Mystic. There's no way. There's no way in hell the Mystics draft a player that is 6'3" or taller who plays in the front court at this pick at 30. I don't know how you could possibly rationalize that. But I mean, I maybe I'll look so stupid here. But I mean, Roy Harmon, Kara Dunn, Tony Morgan, all players I would like to see, at this spot here. I'm curious though, because the Aces. I mean, let's talk about the Aces right here because they're making their first selection of the draft. They have Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Asia, Jewel Lloyd's coming back, Corbin's girl Kirsten Bell's coming back, Conrad. Oh no, who did I text you? Oh, Dana Evans. I texted you this morning about Dana Evans. Dana Evans is coming back.
Yeah.
But who do you think? Who do you guys think that the Aces target here? I think this is one of two draft picks they have tonight, if I'm correct. Yeah, they picked second to last as well to end the draft, so they got two picks, and arguably this is probably the only one that will, mean anything. So,
wow.
Conrad, Corbin, does anyone have any thoughts on who the Aces should target here?
Listen, I just want to see Janai Barker pick for my agenda, so I think it'd be an interesting.
That's probably who it'll be because they just lost Aaliyah Nye. So,
well, I just think there's there's a lot upstairs that maybe need to be, the talent is there. There's a lot of other intangibles, right? Without me, I don't know this person personally, right? But from what I've heard, from what people like, that sort of thing. So if you're looking at the talent, a player who can be an innings eater on the offensive end. Can play within the system, but kind of do her own thing, kind of carry the offensive stretches, not so reliant. They have a lot of bucket years, but Jewel Lloyd had a slow start last year. I think you say the same thing for a few of their players outside of Asia Wilson. And then when you look at the fact that, hey, this is a team that, good or not, and they're very good, they're going to be another year older. I mean, Chelsea Gray will be 34 this year, right? Yeah. I mean, Asia's smacking her prime, but she'll be 30. So having another player who doesn't have to be like the future or anything like that, but just someone who can get buckets. Can I mean, come on now. Do we want to keep seeing Kirsten Bell brick threes from the corner, from the wing? I'm just saying. You get a player in Janai Barker who can do that, and hopefully with the veterans that she's around, all the other stuff can get sorted out as well. That would be the idea. I just think that skill set is. I love that skill set in the W. I love a skill set in basketball, right? Like you're a player with some size who can get to your spots, knock down shots. And usually for her, from the film I've seen, the offense kind of fuels the defense. When shots are going down, she's on it. She's active, she's engaged. She kind of makes the most of her physical gifts. When the shots aren't going in, she's not part of the offense. I mean, she checks out. At least is what I've seen. So, maybe on a team where, both sides of the ball are valued, but your skill set is a nice asset, that'd be good. I don't want to talk too much because then she's not going to get picked, and then I'll just look like I just,
they just did. That's this with the in the Aces. No, she's going to get picked by them. I don't see why they wouldn't pick her. She feels the need that they just.
Look!
Yeah.
Oh, Jediah Barker to the Aces. Let's go.
She feels the need. Like that's literally what they need. You know what I mean? Like there's no other player that's available that that I know about. Because I know Conrado, he's the super scout. Like some of the players I haven't gotten to, but yeah, I know.
Hey,
about
careful,
Janiyah,
we can't say that on air. Apparently, sorry, I'm being petty. People on social. Anyway, yes, no, you're right. He.
I have a job.
No.
Soon,
At the risk of not
Soon
sounding too deferential,
soon
you're completely right, MJ. So, yeah.
No, but Janiyah she's that deal, bro.
Yeah.
Like, she plugs and plays right into what they want to do and what they already do, and might be better at it. You know what I mean? So than Aaliyah and Kirsten. So we'll see. Man. The only right now, just looking at how everything is looking, I think it's New York and Aces right now. To be honest,
I need Janiyah Barker to be with the Aces like Ja Rule.
Yeah,
always on time.
What you say, Con?
No, with the final pick of the second round, it is right. This is the Mystics, right?
Yep. That was the Mystics.
Okay. Well, it's another forward, but Maxwell, you're shit.
A player who I had ranked higher than two of our previous picks. I like Dariana Little Page Bugs. I think she's going to be a WNBA player. There's some versatility there. I think she'll be able to play a 3-4. I like the defensive switchability. I like her mid post to low post game. I think she's got a little bit more juice to squeeze as far as being like a mid post scorer in the WNBA and like kind of like growing into, being a viable option there. But yeah, I mean, at the last pick in the second round, I think that's a good value pick. It's so tough because like that. Okay, so like getting my 24th ranked player at 30 is phenomenal, right? Like I should be happy about that, but that's the fifth 3, 4, 5 player that we've drafted tonight. And again, like I'm beating a dead horse talking about the lack of guards on this roster. Like, I mean, right now there's a chance that Lucy Olson is our starting point guard and or Georgia Amore. Or Georgia Amore, I should say. So
40 minutes.
Yeah. That comment's like living rent free in my head right now. So yeah, that's the Mystics still got some picks. We still got one more pick in the third round. So we come right back here at 34. Maybe Tony Morgan or Rory Harmon's our last pick tonight, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Z Spearman to the Wings.
Wow,
that's an interesting shout.
Wow.
That's a flyer. That's a flyer.
I know I'm normally a fairly glass half full guy.
That's a flyer. As I said, that's a flyer. Go ahead, Connor.
Because like given their training camp invites, like especially like their international players who they use as training camp invites, I really like some of their training camp players. And I think they're more deserving of a developmental roster spot than Z Spearman. Yo,
yeah.
Okay, this is nice. Tony Morgan to the Chicago Sky. Again. Tony Morgan actually, she did have a. She just was outside of a first round grade for me. She was 16th on my big board, for whatever that's worth. Okay, our friend Antonio. Let's go back to Dallas. According to him. 133 by ESPN. I don't know if that's true. Okay, she's on my board. She's like in I think the 70s. Let me look. Okay, I had her 65th. I don't know. Kind of like a position. They call her a power forward, but let's be real. She doesn't have the skill set to really be a 4, or a big wing. She's basically locked at a center, and she doesn't do enough of the things you want. Make no mistake, plays with a lot of grit, a lot of intensity. I do like that.
This might be Sarah Williams here for the Sun because Kathy just walked out. Sorry.
Oh no! Oh wow.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Well, look at that. Sarah Williams, so now the Connecticut Sun feature 2 former UConn Huskies, right? And Aaliyah Edwards and Sarah Williams. Again, I have talked about in length about Sarah Williams again. Other than Awa Fam, I think Sarah Williams is one of the best bigs at switching, defending in space. Again, I tracked her stats on Synergy. I believe she led all of D1 in block 3-point shots. Just fits that identity. If you're using a late pick on someone who could potentially fill in the margins and stick, I think she does. Going back to Z Spearman, I don't want to be pessimistic, but it really reminds me a lot of last year. I think was it with Madison Scott Maxwell when Dallas originally drafted her?
And then she ended up not making the roster. Washington.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Her. Now, to be fair, Madison Scott was a second rounder, and frankly, I think she should have stuck at least for their opening day roster. That's that's in the past, but it's kind of here, right? Like, make no mistake, Dallas has got some really nice players that they're bringing to training camp, and I don't know if Z's. All right.
Oh, it happened. Let's go.
He's done miracles on
me. Hey.
He's done miracles on me.
Waymaker, miracle worker.
The Mystics are back, baby.
It's just taking us to church. That's what the Mystics are doing, taking us to church.
Let's go.
Can you hear the worship? Oh my goodness.
Even when I don't see you, you're working. Or is that for Sidney Johnson? I'm just kidding.
Man, we needed that. That was a good bow. I needed that.
Oh boy.
So how you
feel,
Max?
Go ahead. Rory Harmon was ranked above the previous 3 selections that she's ranked ahead of Cody, Dariana for me, Cassandra Prosper for me. The only 2 players that I had ranked above her on my big board that we selected tonight were Angela Dugalich, who was, about like 8 spots higher than Lauren Betts, who obviously was my 4th pick. So, we needed a guard. Now we have, Rory Harmon, Georgia Amore, Electric Company. That's a factory right there. Like that
it will be.
That is fun. I'm going to enjoy watching the growth from those 2 players. Basically just trotting out 2 rookies. But Roy Harmon was someone that I kind of selfishly did want the Mystics to take in the 3rd round if we didn't go, if we didn't get the guards we wanted early. So that worked out perfect for me. That was kind of the late round pick that I wanted. So I'm a lot happier than I have been for the previous 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 50 seconds of the stream. But good job by the Mystics right there. That's a good way to end it. I think Roy Harmon's a WNBA player, so and I don't think she's gonna have a lot of difficulty making this roster with the current players that are on it. So Charlize Dunn to Toronto Tempo.
Oh wow! Shout out Davidson. Okay,
that is a really fun pick. Conrad, do you want to give the Charlize Dunn scouting report? Where is she on your board? Because she's got to be on your board, right?
All right,
take it away. Out of an 80-player big board, I don't think she was on it, man.
No way.
No, but I did. Yeah, no. She was. I think at one point, and that's the funny thing. She was at one point, and I think I knocked her off in favor of Amelia Hassett, who got picked 1 spot ahead of her.
That's fair. I can talk about Charlize Dunn.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not I haven't deep dived on her like crazy, but she's kind of like this off guard, combo guard, small forward mixture of a player. She's got interesting length. She's kind of limited as an athlete. She shoots pretty decently from beyond the arc. She's one of those players where you watch her and you're like, I really like your jump shot, but I don't know why you're not shooting at almost 40% and you're closer to 30%, based on your form and how you kind of get to your jump shot. As far as defensively, I'm not sure how she's going to hold up in the WNBA. I think there are definitely some athletic concerns. I think lateral quickness is going to be a concern there specifically. I mean, I think just general athleticism as well is, a slight concern.
Yes.
Oh, let's go.
No way. Sorry, Conrad, please go off.
Called one, baby.
Go in.
Called one. All right.
For the culture.
One of Conrad's players.
For the culture.
Kokoro Tanaka from Japan. Yes, she's going to be a draft and stash, but hey, 3rd round pick. This is where you need to take those upside swings. Kokoro Tanaka again. Will she ever come over? Who knows, right? I mean, I think she has a lot of interest in it. It's not going to be this season, but extremely, again, very young, only 20 years old. Extremely electric shooter, like shot maker, right? Again, round 5, 7-ish, 5'8", crazy range. She has that ability to pull up, from 3, which at her height you would need it. But again, you're going to question, will some of the aspects of her game translate, because she actually is a really good player or a really good guard at finishing like in the paint or outside of the paint, whether that's a series of like floaters or runners. But again, just really shifty, really quick, high arcing release, despite her height. Really high on her, obviously. Again, as a developmental piece, as a draft and stash, this is pretty much where I had her ranked, right? Where again, I would not have felt comfortable selecting her any earlier than the 3rd round. So again, here, I think this is probably the best avenue, because the Valkyries do have a number of players that they're pretty committed to right now. I think they do want to see the continued development of Leticia Amihir and, to a certain extent, Caitlin Chen, Kate Martin, so again, I like the idea of just kind of spreading out talent. But yeah, sorry to cut you off, Maxwell. I was just waiting for the ticker to update,
He said, yes.
You're muted.
Sorry, that you're all good. I think that's the beauty of the WNBA draft in the 2nd and 3rd round. If you watch the NFL, it is like the NFL 7th round, where you can't even catch your breath before the next pick. So it inherently brings good interruptions, and especially when we're passionate about players who are getting picked in the the last picks, the ending picks of the draft. I don't think any interruption is a bad interruption.
Right.
Especially for Kokoro. But yeah, I mean, off of that, did Seattle just pick or no? No, sorry, their pick is in. They did not pick. Sorry, I thought we missed the pick.
And speaking of Seattle, there's some information suggesting that they traded Flau'jae because of the Gabby Williams deal. I don't know the backstory to it, but that's what someone is suggesting. I should have.
There is no deal though. Gabby came as a free agent.
Yeah,
like just them signing Gabby was like they didn't need Flau'jae.
Yeah,
I mean, I could see that. I think there's a lot of similar application that you'd be asking both of those players to provide. Conrad, I think you're kind of like going back to the Valks move. I think that cap savings was kind of the big move. It's like, the best expansion teams are the ones in any sport are the ones who are not rushing to be successful, but are, working on building the right way. Right. And, that's not just in the WNBA or, even in the NBA, but in any sport. And so, while it's like might not be, the most ideal move to watch Flau'jae Johnson walk out the door before she could even put the Valks jersey on, like, we might be sitting here in late May, June with Marta Suarez playing 24 minutes a night and being like, dang, she's only getting paid $200,000 for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So like that's very much a possible reality. So.
I saw a tweet from, actually, I'll pull it up right now. Someone sent it to me from friend of the show, Valkyrie's beat reporter Kenzo Fukuda.
Hey,
Hey,
Kenzo.
let's
Yeah,
go.
and he had a really good point. I don't disagree with his point. So basically, he was saying that okay, like he was writing his story about the Valks drafting Flauge, and then all of a sudden he goes, okay, delete, got to rewrite this because now we're Marta Suarez, and Marta Suarez is coming to the Bay, right? They already photoshopped her in the violet jersey and everything. So what he's saying is, this is his tweet. He goes, that being said, I'm shocked this is a trade the Valkyries did, given not only the fit of Johnson, but also how value-wise it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It took a 2028 second rounder for the Storm to move up 8 spots. The Valkyries fell into the second round with this trade. Second rounders rarely turn into real value. Not worth dropping all the way back to 16, even if you do like the player. Now, I largely agree with Kenzo's logic, but I think the three of us would agree Marta's grade was closer to that of a first rounder than a second rounder. I'm not trying to like be a shill for the Valks, but what I'm saying is, right, there were multiple outlets. Michael even picked her like 10th in our mock draft last night, right? Like there were multiple,
when you put it that way, it does make sense.
Yeah, there were multiple media entities that did have Marta as a first round prospect or first round talent. Right. You know, she was just outside my first round. So I don't think, I get what Kenzo's saying, but in this case, again, if for the Valkyries, if Ohemanian and Natalie Nakase are saying, you know what, we have in general, in a vacuum, we have a first round granter, but in our system,
right, that's what I was thinking.
That upside is even higher. I'm trying to rationalize it. I agree. They probably, I really think they could have gotten more in return for trading down, but I don't think simply saying, "Oh, Marta Suarez is a second rounder, therefore this is not a particularly good trade."
Not a second rounder, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not even because, to me.
I mean, frankly, let's be real, right? We said Angela Dugalic. Who else? Tina Mayer. Right. To a lesser extent, who else was it? We had basically, there was a bunch of players who we absolutely did not think were going to go in the first round. Right. Ended up going in the first round. So inevitably, the people we thought were going to go in the first round get pushed down. So I think that's just kind of where I would say, you know, so
people need to kind of ease up a little bit. Plus, Marta may fit better with what the Valkyries want to do within their offense. You know, as opposed to Flauge coming in, because what if they're looking for my girl to go?
Yo,
you know what I mean? What if they're looking for Janelle to be the person that actually carries the torch?
My God, Jonathan Cole does it again. Manuela Puach from Australia. See, this is Conrad's area now of the draft board, where it's all the draft and stats. But going back to what Maxwell was saying, as it relates, what he was saying about again, you know, GMs. It's not necessarily about just rushing to win now, but again, when taking a patient approach, patient being thinking down the line, and again. Right. Jonathan Kolb right here, this is a move he's made time and time again, right? Using your second and third round picks on these international players. Everyone is now praising the Liberty for not only, okay, you brought in Satu Sabli, but who else are you bringing? You're bringing in like Raquel Carrera, you know? I believe, are they bringing in Pauline Astar, right? Well, my point is right, you know, you had all these high, you know, like these high upside international players developing for years, and now as their free agents are moving on to other teams, they're like the cavalry. They have them waiting to come in, you know. So
right, it's
a good process, you know. It makes sense. But yeah, don't want to completely. Jessica Timmons, really liked her, you know, shooting guard. Frankly, she has a lot of ball handling skills, you know, shooting guard. I think she's more of a combo guard, you know, from Alabama.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, it might be tough for her to make that roster. That's probably be tough enough. But
yeah,
Conrad, I agree with everything you said about the Liberty and their process. I mean, I think, you know, it's why, you know, they've not only had success drafting, but they've also had success, in business transactions with international players, and being able to get Meeson and being able to get a Fibich. International players also want to play there. So, I think it's kind of one of those things that's twofold that, players look at is like, you're not only drafting and stashing, international talent and showing that you value international development and talent, but you're also doing business with some of the top international players and putting them in positions to be successful and to win basketball games that are of, serious meaning. So, I think that's definitely one of the better compliments you could give to a front office, and something that shouldn't be understated, because it's the reason why the Liberty are continually in the playoffs. Maybe over the last 6 or 5 years, I mean, before Brianna Stewart, maybe they weren't in contention all the time, but since Stewie's been in town, they've been a perennial contender. I mean,
hey, Conrad's pick, Keja Ran. Okay.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jordan Obi.
And Minnesota rounding us out.
This is why we love the third round. Who's going to be the last pick of the
Lonnie White. Okay.
Oh, that's your girl. Perfect.
I think she can make the team in some capacity. I think she can make the team. Her shooting, I'm actually very surprised. Like, for the level of shooter that she is, you thought she'd at least, I don't know, I thought she'd at least be a second rounder. But wow, a lot of big names who did not get drafted. I kind of stopped updating my board. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the 2026 WNBA draft. Clearly, given our reactions and a lot of the reactions, on social media and everything like that. Some things expected, some things very surprising.
Yeah.
Maxwell, friend of the show, TCH, columnist, Brianna Carter. Not in the chat, but she actually directly messaged me. She wanted to know, what are the Mystics doing? So now that we've seen it, what do you like? How? Yeah. What do you think is the plan of attack here? I mean, like.
Oh man, I'm so curious myself. I have no clue. I mean, the only thing that I know for certain is that Lauren Betts, Sonia Citrone, Kiki Iriafen, Georgia Amore, Shakira Austin, Cody, Angela Duglich. I mean, all those players are going to be on this roster. I'd expect Roy Harmon to also be on the roster as a third round pick. I think that's one of the most easiest roster guarantees for a third round pick in WNBA draft history is Roy Harmon.
Nice.
gonna make the Mystics roster after looking at who else is there. I mean, I would imagine she's probably a better guard than Lucy Olson right now, and I like Lucy Olson a lot. I think highly of Roy Harmon. I'm kind of lost because I had a lot of trouble last year, kind of understanding and appreciating the brand of basketball and the style of coaching from Sydney Johnson. And I think like my biggest frustrations last year from the Mystics were Sydney Johnson based. And so to see, the Mystics give him an quote unquote elevated role, if you will, and watch this draft happen. It was, I'm discouraged. I'm trying to be optimistic, but like I don't really think they maximized the value in this draft. They didn't trade any picks in this draft. Some of the trades that we saw in this draft, I think there was a market to potentially move around in the draft. I'm curious, like it makes me really wonder what their evaluations were of the Raven Johnsons, of the Tanaya Latsons. Like I want to know what they thought about Nell Glama. They passed on her twice. They passed on Gianna Neepkins twice. So that's kind of like where I'm at. They must have not thought highly of those backcourt players, but it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you have to imagine Shakira, Lauren, and Kiki are going to eat so many minutes in that 4 or 5 spot. Like, I don't know where you're going to fit Duglich in. And like, if you see Duglich as a 3, like,
Wait.
then
Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
If you see Dugalich as a 3, then where do where does Cody slide in? So it I think it leaves a lot of questions open, and there aren't really clear answers. I mean, I was laughing, in the WNBA, the pre-draft show, because Cody McMahon was talking about how she thought of herself, she had some similarities to Alyssa Thomas, and how she was very complimentary of her and was talking about her, and I really hope the Mystics don't see her as a player that's similar to Alyssa Thomas, because I don't think that she can possibly be that player in the WNBA. So it makes me worried for the Mystics and kind of their opinions on specifically Dugalich and who are we just talking about? Sorry, there's so many. Cody McMahon. Yeah, sorry, my thoughts are kind of everywhere on it, and kind of centralized at the same time, because it's like we just drafted so many players, and our best pick was our first pick and our last pick. Like, I genuinely thought Lauren Betts at 4 and Rory Harmon at 34 was our best 2 selections of the night. I like Dariana Little Page Bugs, but I again, like, I don't know how she's going to see the floor with who they drafted in front of her. So it's like, why? I don't want to say waste the pick, but why select her when there's a Tony Morgan on the board, or there's a Cara Dunn on the board who didn't get drafted?
And by the way, no, the reason my whoa earlier was, if I'm mistaken, did Maggie Dugan go undrafted?
Maggie Dugan did go undrafted.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah,
wow. And I wasn't as high, but I was high enough where she should have been drafted, in my opinion. I mean, like,
Dunn and Dugan were the only 2 players on my board of like draftable WNBA players that didn't get selected. So
wow.
I mean, yeah, I was surprised about both.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really odd, in the sense that, again, right, like, we're privy to our own opinions, we're privy to other people who make their opinions public. So other draft, either whatever, content creators, writers, media. It's just the fact that there's a good handful of players that were not really on anyone's radar. Like, I mean, people know, for example, people know, and I'm not trying to throw shade at her, but Tina Mayer. I could understand some of the other players going in the first round. Tina Mayer going first, like, there is supposed to be a certain level of gamesmanship, to the draft amongst the GMs, right? Like, you're not just drafting who you think is the best available. You're trying to, whatever, right, get the most value out of it, relative to, your competition being other front offices. So, like, for example, I mean, it's hard to completely insult Seattle, or not insult, or criticize them when they did come out of this draft with Flau'jae Johnson, right? It's just
fair.
It's really odd, though, again, where these completely disparate lines of thinking arise. Like, even there, between that, you're telling me that Flau'jae and Tina Mayer were that close on your big board?
Right.
Like,
yeah, very very strange. I mean, especially like they could have really capitalized on that pick. I mean, you got Fam and then traded for Flau'jae. Like, that's a phenomenal duo to be bringing to Seattle, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, I mean, compared to, I mean, just to name some of the players that they could have selected right there at 14, they could have selected Gianna Neepkins, they could have selected Tanaya Latson, they could have selected Sarah Williams, they could have selected Charlize Ledger-Walker, they could have selected Marta Suarez, they could have selected Justine Pso, who Conrad and I both like. Just I would have selected Cara Dunn at that spot, but apparently she's not worth a WNBA draft pick for some reason. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty shocked by that.
Me
I gotta
too.
go over my list of players who ultimately went undrafted, but she's definitely one that stands out. Another draft and stash, Ella DeClercq, I really like, and I had her as like in the mid-20s. Oh man, Layla Felia did not get drafted, huh?
Nope.
Damn.
Cool.
On a personal basis, one, I do believe she deserves to at least get drafted. You know, even if the odds are against her to make an opening day roster. Having said that, it would have been cool to see like the first Filipina drafted into the WNBA. So again, on a selfish, personal, right?
She
like
would have been the first, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have talked about what we did say. Michael, is there anyone else that you think is a reach? You know, Tonio's asking. Other than basically he's saying the entire Washington draft class is a reach.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
I'm looking at this list here.
Yeah, let me try to
honestly,
pull up the list
even
real
in the
quick.
second round, again, I know. See, that's the logic I don't like. It's like, okay, well, it's the second round. Historically, second rounders don't make the opening day roster, so it's like whatever, right? Like let's just throw, let's just blindly throw darts at a board. But like, I don't really like that logic. I feel that they have given teams more tools to be able to, build and strengthen their rosters. So, like the idea that you can just be like so cavalier with a second round pick at this point. Because again, as much as I like, reaches. As much as I like some of these players, Latasha Lattimore at 21, I think it was a little bit of a reach. That's probably more one that really stood out to me. Even the Valkyrie, I don't know. I'm not really. I like the Valkyries picks in general. I don't like how they were, like the strategy they went about going get them. I really don't like Ashlyn Jackson where she was picked. I
mean, I can't really say anything except the Washington picks outside of Lauren Beth. I don't know, Dugalich, if I had to choose, but
who is the biggest Washington reach then?
The biggest
I would have said Cody.
If Cody, I was about to say if Max thinks Cody is supposed to be point guard, then yeah, it's Cody all day. Even though Rory will be ahead of her, I'm sure, but like, what's the point when you had so many people available still at that time?
Sarah Williams just got traded to the Portland Fire for Taylor Bigby in a 3rd round pick.
We're probably gonna see a lot of this.
It's a good trade. It's a good trade for the Fire.
Yeah. They trying to catch Toronto right now. They like, wait a minute, we got to have a good season coming out too.
Mystics head coach Sidney Johnson after the draft, quote, "We're not the aces, but we're ascending. We've got some players."
Yeah, okay. That's what they got, some players.
Don't worry, Sidney. Nobody is confusing you for the aces.
Right.
Also, Sidney said Lauren Betts will be coming off the bench to back up Shakira Austin.
Jesus Christ, man.
I mean, and how do you feel about that? Isn't that why they got rid of Edwards? Because
dude, we just spent 3 first-round picks on 3 non-starters. Is what that quote means.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way the other 2 are starting.
That's what I'm saying.
Ain't starting.
Right, and again,
fuck?
know me. I have been the guy saying like, hey, right, don't draft in fear of a potential logjam. I have said that. I don't want to be.
We have said that.
But at the same time, like the nature of the way Washington went about, you've guaranteed yourself you've created a logjam. Right. And one that I don't think is going to be solved. Like,
right?
Who did we say? Who is their 3rd round pick? Sorry, I need to look at the
Rory Harmon.
Yeah.
You didn't have another one?
No, it was just we got
Dariana Littlepage Bugs
in the 2nd round. Yeah, she was the last pick in the 2nd round.
It's going to be very difficult for her to even make the roster.
Oh, she's not going to. I would be insanely surprised.
I think Maxwell. So for me, Antonio, where was Gabriella ranked? I mean, a little lower, but not like super low. I got, we were surprised she got selected at 5, but for me, she was ranked 11th for me.
Okay, I had her 9th.
Yeah.
Okay. So about the same, same area. I mean, I think we were surprised, but like once you start to kind of hash it out, like we were talking about, this guy possibly getting more of a ball handler at that spot to, possibly spell Courtney Vandersloot, Rachel Banham, and maybe get, kind of a younger change of pace, someone more athletic, someone a little bit faster. Flau'jae Johnson was still available at that time. Kiki Rice was still available. I know Tanya Latson went 20th overall, but she was still available as well, and Deanna Martin was still available. So I think the surprise was more in them passing on those 4 players who are all ball handlers who offered change of pace and offered some of the things that we probably thought this guy valued in this draft, to add to their bench. And then they pivoted to Gabriela Jaquez, who also provides, a lot of value for them, but like, you just traded for JC Sheldon and you just traded a first round pick, right? And I think where, JC plays the 2-3, Gabriella probably, played the 3 in college, probably going to play the 2-3 in the WNBA. I don't really know if that moves me as much as a Kiki Rice to Chicago, right? So I think it's more of like, I don't think it's a bad pick, but it makes me question the process when you have, guards on your bench who lack athleticism or in a deficit, who are getting attacked defensively every time they're on the floor, and you don't want to address that. The reason why you had so many issues in your backcourt last year is because those players were your primary ball handlers and your primary point of attack defenders. And like, you didn't want to address that problem in a rebuild. Your best player, the player you've invested the most in, is a 6'7" center in Camila Cardoso. And you're not drafting a player that necessarily helps Camila Cardoso either. So I think for me, it's more of like Gabrielle Jaquez isn't a bad pick at 5, but it more of just makes me question the process of the Chicago Sky. Like, what is the vision here? Is Courtney Vandersloot and Rachel Banham good enough for you? Because if I was a Sky fan, it wouldn't be good enough for me at this point, especially being at 5. So
yeah, they should have probably drafted Raven, to be honest, because that's what they were lacking. That's what they've been lacking, is point of attack defense, like you pointed out. To be honest,
I mean, yeah, I truly think Kiki Rice was the layup for them there, because like you get a guard who can, be your lead ball handler, but doesn't have to be that right away, and as a player who's shown they can play off the ball and be effective and have some malleability as, an on ball, off ball type of player. So I mean, Kiki Rice would have been great. I mean, Flau'jae would have been great. I think Raven, if you bring Raven in there, I mean, you immediately solve your point of attack problem, right? I mean, it's literally solved. Like, she might be your best point of attack defender in your backcourt. I mean, I would probably rather have her over Skylar Diggins. And I mean, Dejanay Carrington had a rough season last year, but like, I mean, I think there's, a debate to be had on who you'd rather have as a point attack defender. Dejanay coming off of last season, or Raven Johnson coming off of what she just showed us over the last 2 months. Right.
I mean, I don't even think, to me, that's like apples and oranges. I don't really think Dejanay is a point of attack defender. You know what I'm saying? Her strength.
She can be though.
She can be.
That's more my point.
So I'm to further like your
point.
point.
You're right.
To both your point, right? Like Raven then would have, if that is something that you think is more essential to actually taking you to that next level of being competitive, then no. You were talking about UCLA, Kiki Rice and everything. I get what Tonio's saying here. I have my answer, but who's the worst UCLA Bruin drafted today and the best minus bets? Ultimately, I don't think any of them, well, obviously, none of them are bad players. Who is potentially the worst fit? At least that's how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah, let's interpret it that way. All right, go ahead.
Is it Dugaloo?
I mean, we already know.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you could make. You could make an argument it'd be CLW, but I would be lying. I'd be lying.
She has an immediate path to playing time in Connecticut, though. That's the other thing. Like, they need backup guards, and she's like kind of a, I think her, fluidity as a guard would fit well with the Suns. So maybe I'm just dooming and glooming right now, but we were all thinking it. We were all thinking it.
Man, you sat here and like really watched them get your hopes up and sweep the rug right from under you, and it's a damn pit hole under you, so you just falling. And
No, straight up. That was like a
like,
Tom and Jerry, like Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
There's always that one team that will break from the consensus, right? Like they're gonna make that one pick that a lot of fans weren't expecting. So again, it's not a bad pick, but Gabriela Jaquez going 5 obviously throws off the draft board. Maxwell and I, yes, we had a lot of enthusiasm for our respective teams because that means, well, if Jaquez, who was a little bit lower on our big board, gets drafted earlier, inevitably players we were higher on goes down, and somehow more players that we were lower on getting selected and the players we wanted.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, well, I thought I got a player, and that's what sucks too about this process is for a lot of Valkyries fans because I think everybody, especially people forget, or I don't even think people know. People were not aware of who Marta Suarez was until this season with TCU. But let's recall, she played at a very high level for Cal.
Stand up, Golden Bears.
Right? Yes, the Golden Bears. So the Bay Area is very familiar with Marta Suarez. The Bay Area loves Marta Suarez. You know what I'm saying? That's why when people say like, oh, she took her game to another level, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, she was doing that at Cal. She's just doing it at a bigger spotlight now, right? With TCU and Olivia Miles. But that's the thing. I don't like the way now Valkyries fans, like it bums me out for her because it's being talked about like, oh, they settled for something inferior, because we did at one point have the draft rights to Flau'jae Johnson. So, again, I'd like to see more details emerge. Obviously, we know the trade details of the Valk 2028 second rounder, but, yeah, it's just interesting. I think this is kind of like the way, you process these trades. But going back to what Michael was saying, like, Marta will play. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why for me, I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not, even though I'm bummed it's not Flau'jae, I'm like, Marta's really going to play. Like, she's going to play.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
A lot.
So I'm like, okay, like that makes sense to me. But
especially
other than
how
that,
I was looking at my picks, like when we did the mock draft, like if we're looking for fit, Marta's a fit. You know what I mean?
And that's the funny thing, right? Like your logic wasn't completely off in terms of you're like, hey, we got Caitlin Clark, got Kelsey Mitchell. We want to surround them with even more shooting, right? Because of how great they are as playmakers off the dribble. And then sure enough, the stretch 4 I was really high on, Justine Passat from Vanderbilt, she ended up going to the Fever in the second round. Mm-hmm. So they were thinking the same way, right? They just held off. They got basically what we wanted. They got the ideal outcome. They got Raven Johnson in the first, and they got their stretch 4 in the second round. Right. So
and they filled the need with their defense, and added more shooting. It just made sense, man.
Just looking at my big board.
What'd she say?
Oh, is he talking about we're not the aces?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just classic Wizards, Mystics vibes.
Wizards and Mystics, damn, they in the same boat.
I mean, the Mystics have been better, but like,
just need AJ to come drop 50
there's been periods, yeah. There's been periods. I mean, Bam already dropped 83 on us. So.
Right. Just need AJ to
we've already.
I gotta spare you.
Wouldn't be the worst one I've watched. So yeah, right. Watch Bam live.
This has been a lot of fun. I'm glad that we were able to do this together. Before we wrap up, I just kind of want to get like your guys' I mean, obviously I got your initial reactions. We saw all our initial, like our live reactions and everything. But right now, given what we know these teams have done in free agency and just kind of looking at their draft hauls, forget about like, speculating which picks are going to make the roster or not, whatever, like which teams are you feeling really good about? I know, Michael, you said Aces and Liberty.
Oh, you talking about for the season?
Yeah, just right now. I mean, obviously free agency is still going.
Like who's elevated their standing the most?
Yeah,
not just from the draft though, just period. Like going before we go into the season, who do I think? I mean, the Aces is a damn shoe in. They have Aja. You know what I mean? It's like not fair. So, and then the Liberty add inside too, that gives you the ability to stretch, like Brianna, like extend her career basically. You know what I mean? And give Satu another way to look at how to play on the floor in the playing style that she might need to adapt and adopt. You know what I mean? Adapt to and adopt. Like Brianna could probably give her some pointers on that because she's been taking steps along the way in her development. Like she went from being a four, and I threw it out there. Oh, she could play the three. Then they threw her at the three in Dallas. Then she got better. She was turnover prone, but that happened. Then she got to play with AT, so she got to do a little bit more of that. And then now to go with Brianna, like she should continue taking steps in her game. So I think that this step will be the one that kind of puts her over where she'll have it just out like already. You know what I mean? It'll all come together for her. So I'm thinking Aces and Liberty is the top two, and then I mean. LA is interesting with NECA to me. That's kind of interesting because she, instead of being with Seattle, whatnot, she's going to go back, but she's going to be with Cameron Brink. Now, if they stay healthy and Kelsey Plum too, and she can actually kind of give the type of production she did last season, they'll be silently really good, to be honest. Because Kelsey almost had them there by herself. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
That's like probably a sleeper team. And then if I had to pick one more sleeper, I'm gonna go Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Atlanta because they just have so much. They got backup depth for anything that happens, especially with the big. If Brianna went down, if Angel went down, you know what I mean. They're thorough top to bottom. Just please do not let Jordan Kennedy get hurt. Please, basketball guys, do not let Jordan Kennedy get hurt. I'm tired of her getting hurt.
The thing is, I think
facts.
The one thing I think Atlanta, despite assembling a great roster this offseason, like
not a sleeper, Tony, a dark horse. Like people will be sleeping on them. I'm not.
They still lack a consistent shot creator in the half court. That is something they never really address. Now, again, they have a lot of good passing at every position, so you're hoping that you can create better looks. But that was really what did them in last season, not just in the playoffs, but in like their close losses during the regular season. So that's something I'd like to monitor. But
Antonio going crazy.
I mean, with thank you, Antonio. Look forward to interacting with you more.
We'll tap in with you too.
I'll give you my sleeper. My sleeper is Dallas. I mean, I think Dallas went from being a fast food joint to a Michelin star restaurant, in the span of 60 days. Like, I mean, you're talking about like watching games last year in August where Isaiah James and JJ Quinterly are like your only hope of like any offensive production, as far as having the ball in their hand.
And they showed up too.
We're talking when Paige, missed some games, but like, I mean, if you were watching the Dallas Wings near the end of the season where, they had one foot off the ledge, like it was really, really rough. There was complete like disassociation, but from players to coaching staff to, what the actual game plan of the game was. Like there was so much disconnect there. It arguably could have been the worst situation in the WNBA last season. I mean, I think there's some others that you could possibly throw in the ring, but just generally speaking, you add Elena Smith, AZ Fudd, and Jess Shepard to Paige and Enrique. You bring back Lee Rue, obviously Maddie Segrist. We talked about the rookie guards, Zaya and JJ, that are coming back. I just think that team is kind of set up to make the leap, be in the playoffs next year. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to be a top 4 seed. I actually don't think they're going to be, but I think they're the type of team that's a 6 seed, upset the 3 seed in the first round. And we're all like, whoa, because the versatility of Paige, AZ, Alana, specifically those 3 who, I like Enrique. She's definitely not the 4th best player on this team, but I think those 3 players and the versatility that they provide is so underrated and so understated. And it's one of the most valuable things you can have in the WNBA is when you have guards and bigs who are versatile and can give you different looks on both offense and defense. And Dallas went from having 1 player who gave you that to now having 3 players who can give you that. And I think no other team in the WNBA can say that. heading into this season. So I would say that's probably like my biggest winner, just because basketball wise, you got so much smarter and you have players who can do so much more and bring so much more to the table for you.
Yeah.
So, and I'm optimistic about Jose. So, um, um, we'll see. We'll see if Fernandez can actually make it work. But and again, like I need to dig deeper into Fernandez and the background and the history and the type of things that Fernandez likes to run. But I just the personnel wise, I think that's probably going to be my pick. I think they're going to surprise.
4 high stack sets, baby. That's his pet play. That's his pet play. It is.
Is it really?
It is.
Well, dude, that's seriously dangerous, because I mean, you have Jess Shepard and Atlanta Smith. I mean, those are two phenomenal players for 4 high.
You totally get it. Exactly.
AZ literally just cycling from corner to window, opposite side, is so dangerous in itself. Like, you can get 1 to 2 players who are that second pass away on weak side block or weak side elbow who are playing that help on AZ. Like, just her doing that motion. I mean, you're a Golden State fan, Conrad. You could talk about Klay Thompson's arguably the greatest player ever at exercising that window to corner, off ball movement. Potentially in NBA history, truthfully.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I think AZ has a lot of those similar elements. So putting her in a 1-4 high with Jess and Alana's a great shout. That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
Somebody's mentioned that to me earlier, going back and forth with me about it and about my specific comments. I'm like, hey, y'all heard? If you watched, you heard Conrad say I chose AZ number 1. I just came into this podcast, or the last podcast, with I was picking on fit. Like, I talked off the mic with Conrad about, like, how are we going into this, because I didn't prepare an actual how are we going to go into this. I just prepared my list. And I'm just like, well, I'm going to just go based on fit. And I went based on fit. I thought AZ would have been fine either way, Dallas. But I was thinking more so Minnesota with Fee being out. You know what I mean? Where she could have just took the reins right off top. But that doesn't mean that I don't think she could fit in Dallas, or that I thought she wasn't the number 1 pick, to pick in this draft. Like, I thought that. I did. Y'all could go back and listen to it if you need to.
I was listening to everything. I was listening and processing everything Maxwell was just saying. Because sometimes you're listening, but you're not really, absorbing everything. But I was thinking about one specific thing he said, right? They may potentially have some of the best front court passing in the league, right? And I started thinking to myself, right, like, who immediately would come to mind as best front court passers? I would say Breanna Stewart and John Quell, right? But here's the thing, and this is why I'm so optimistic as well about the Dallas Wings. Between, say, like AZ, to a lesser extent, Paige, AZ's better. It's with regards to screen setting, guards and wings that can set screens. This was something they did not tap into nearly enough last season. But Isaiah James is pretty good at setting screens. Setting screens as a guard. Paige, AZ, that is, again, kind of, we talked about this a little bit at the top of the live stream, but the idea of just how effective their inverted pick and rolls can be, like, I'm not, because, like, again, I've posted a bunch of highlights of Alana, like Lon and Jess, like, handling the ball, and they legitimately handle the ball. This isn't like, just make like one handoff or a simple outlet pass. No, I mean, they're pushing the pace. So for them to be able to initiate the pick and roll, and again, with how effective Dallas's new guard depth can at, setting picks and off-ball screens, like, again, going back to what Max was saying, right? He understands, he broke down just what you can do with the types of sets Jose likes to run. I think they could be creeping. They could be creeping on one of those playoff spots. Obviously, but
I was gonna ask you, is that your answer as well, or do you have another team you want to throw out there?
Someone who's like a sleeper, or someone's gone better.
I mean, either. I mean, I think Dallas is both, right? But like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying Dallas is gonna light the world on fire and have home court advantage. You know, I'm predicting them to be a 6th seed, right? So it's like, but a 6th seed is a huge jump. I mean, from being, literally the abyss of despair last season to now being a 6th seed and getting to host a playoff game. That's pretty sweet. So I think that's a good. But yeah, Conrad, sorry. Anyways, it can be either. But do you have another team besides Dallas that's
No, definitely
speaking to you, or?
Definitely Dallas. And I truly, even coming into the draft, wondered just how much Indiana could improve. I really think they have improved. I do believe that, obviously Raven will be on the active roster. She will play. She will likely play a lot. I think Justine Passat, if she doesn't start the year on the 12-player roster, I think she could eventually get on. I really feel that they've addressed a lot of their areas that they wanted to improve upon. You can make an argument maybe traditional rim protection, like a backup. But I mean, you have a lot of capable bigs now, right? In Monique Billings, Maisha Hines-Allen.
Yeah, that's right.
Signed
she just got
today.
signed
There's
today.
a lot of again. I know there's a lot of there's a negative perception of MHA after last season with Dallas.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
I know, right? Maxwell still sees her as
I love
legend.
MHA. She's the dog, man.
No, but again, right?
Especially a couple of seasons ago when she came in and just was doing damn everything on the floor. Like, she's capable, bro. Like,
and that's the thing, though. That's the thing. The fact that she can do so much, she shouldn't. Sometimes a lot of players, you shouldn't have to be tasked with doing too much. Yeah. And I'm not trying to make excuses for her. I'm just saying last year, clearly, because of a lot of a rash of injuries to Dallas's roster, she had to do a lot. With the Fever, if she's playing in a more a more streamlined role, that's some quality depth. Oh, that's all I'm saying, right? Again, right? Would you like a Lauren Betts to come off your bench? I mean, sure, but I mean, hey, for what they do have, I think they're pretty well rounded. I'm really curious to see what this year's Indiana Fever looks like. Especially with everybody starting the season healthy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Indiana, you cannot be the Washington Mystics who now have Lauren Betts coming off the bench. There can only be one of us.
I know, right? Two
maybe
national champions.
Yeah, maybe the Fever envy this Betts, Dugalich, Cody McMahon, Dariana Littlepage Bugs. Yeah. Front court we're going to be bringing off our bench with Roy Harmon as the 5th guard in tow. Maybe we just drafted a whole bench 5.
Right.
A whole bench 5.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Michael, why don't you send us off?
Yes. Okay. So let's start off. Max, let them know where they can find you at.
Yes, you guys can find my stuff at Hoops Disciple on X. The O's are zeros. I posted my final board there today. Commented on some WNBA moves today there as well. So check that out. And then I'll be doing some Portsmouth Invitational stuff coming up this week with another one of the guys on the stream here. We'll be in Portsmouth, Virginia, covering some NBA draft guys who are trying to elevate their draft status a little bit and kind of vault themselves into that top 60. So stay tuned because we'll definitely have a lot of content coming this week from Portsmouth.
Nice. Okay. Con, you got anything you want to close with before we go?
Nope. As always, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this show. Please continue. Really appreciate all the outpouring of support we've been gaining a lot lately. The more you tune in, the more it continues to motivate us to do this. Again, we do it because we love it. We're passionate fans, just like you guys are.
Exactly. Okay. And I don't have nothing else to say, but make sure y'all subscribe, go check out Hoops Disciple. Like Max asked, you go make sure you subscribe to Indie Basketball on it's on everything, Spotify, Apple, and we'll get with y'all real soon because the season's coming, and yeah, we still got more moves coming too. So thank you.
Care.